Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel Pigskin Addicts. Here, back again with another live stream. So, just had to come on here and give my reactions. I normally do a video on Mondays, post game reaction. Whatever happened the previous game. I usually come on here and do it, but I didn't feel like doing the whole editing process. I'm with a newborn and stuff like that. So figure a live would be a lot better, and I can get my articulate my thoughts a lot better in the live than I could in the video with minus the editing and stuff. So here I am. We all know what happened last night. We all know the outcome. Um, the Chargers went down 22-16 in a close game. You know, a lot closer than what people thought it would be. I wasn't surprised by anything. I wasn't surprised by the loss. I wasn't surprised by how close the game was, and I wasn't surprised how seemingly well the Chargers played. I wasn't surprised by any of it. I am, a little bit, perturbed and a little bit ticked off by, some of the fan base. And if you follow me on Twitter, I went on the little tweet storm last night, part of last night after the game, and then, pretty much, all day today. I'm sick and tired of other Charger fans. Um, I'm sick and tired of all of this positivity coming out of nowhere, right? After losses and all of this moral victory type of stuff. There's no moral victories this late in the season. If anybody is taking moral victories away from this, you don't know football. You don't know the NFL. There's no moral victories to be taken away from this. If you play well enough, if you show that you're capable of playing well enough, you should win games. Those are expectations that, happen over the course of a game. So I expect them to win. If you can play well enough, lead the ball game for 53 minutes, you can play well enough to win the game. So I'm just not there. I'm just not there. And I see, yes, what's up, Matt? No more jet sweeps, please. The jet sweep of Bosa. Yeah, it killed me. And I actually got it. And I'm gonna share. I'm gonna show it to you guys. I'm gonna share it with you because that was something that I've seen it on Twitter, and I downloaded it off Twitter, and I just keep watching it and keep watching it, and for the life of me, I just don't understand. It's worse when you watch it over and over again, and it's gonna look worse on. It's gonna look worse when you see it here. So I'm gonna share it with you guys here. So let's see. I don't know if there's audio in here. I'm gonna go ahead and take the audio off. Just watch this now. Now watch Joey Bosa here, right? Where the cursor's at. Look at it. He's in his wide, right? He's in his wide nine. Both the ends, they're in the wide nine. Come up, he is going to be unblocked. That's the crazy part about this play, too, is that he's unblocked. Foster Sarrell, this is his first start at right tackle. I don't think that he made a mistake. I think the play calls for him to get upfield because you're looking for this to kind of loop around and you kind of want to get the blocking going upfield. But this was the dumbest, most incompetent design of a jet sweep that I think that I've ever seen. When you have a player like Nick Bosa here, you have to get somebody. You have to get a hat on him. You can't just let him come up the field unblocked because he's going to blow it up. Like it doesn't. It makes no sense. This is one of the plays that you can replace in the playbook. You can put a quarterback kneel there, and it will be a much better play. That's how bad it is, man. That literally is how bad it is. Craig, let me see. There's such a toxic positivity. People confuse objectivity with exactly, and that's what I'm getting at here, and that's why I went on the little tweet storm that I did. It doesn't matter. People were so, we need positive thoughts and all of this stuff. If positive thoughts were a thing, if positive thoughts helped teams win, and I tweeted this yesterday, the Chargers would have 14 Super Bowls. If your fans thinking positive thoughts helped anything, if that did anything for a team, you would have a lot. You would have Super Bowls. But it doesn't. It doesn't do that. You need competent coaching. You need coaching. You have to have a coaching staff that puts players in the best positions to succeed, right? And that means your philosophy as a coach, like specifically offensively, your philosophy needs to be that of an aggressive mindset, right? Safe but aggressive, but you have to put guys in positions where they can succeed. These guys are not in positions where they can succeed. And I know this is not the most talented group, but they're just not even in positions to where they can make plays. Michael Bandy, again, on the outside. I've seen him on the outside so many times yesterday. He's not in a position where he can succeed on the outside. He does not separate. He cannot separate. You see it week in and week out. All these different corners. You see it against the Seahawks corners, no separation. Seeing it against Atlanta corners, no separation. Niners corners, no separation. That's 3 straight games where he's not getting separation on the outside. What does that tell you? That tells you that this guy can't play on the outside, and he shouldn't be on the outside, but he still is for some reason, right? And this is a Joe Lombardi thing. This is a guy you have calling plays. This is a guy you have designing plays for you. So if you can't see, if we can see that on TV, if we're up on fans, as fans, if we can see that on TV, why can't Lombardi see this? If Bandy's not getting separation against any of these guys, he's not getting separation against RDBs in practice either. So I mean, none of it makes any sense. None of it makes sense. You're going out there with the hope and a wish, and it's not a game plan. It's just hoping and wishing. And at that point, it is what it is. And then you get a performance like yesterday, and your fans are okay with that. And I tweeted some stuff. I'm gonna go over some of my tweets too. But this is who the Chargers are. So okay, without further ado, let me get to this play. I'm gonna replay it a few times so everybody can see how stupid this is. Right. So look at the time here. Look at the time. 7:54 left. The Niners just scored a touchdown. So what do the Chargers have to do? They have to get downfield. They don't necessarily have to score a touchdown here, but they have to get downfield, right? And they have to get into field goal range, right? They have to get into field goal range and at least tie this ball game up. They got to go. The ball's at the 25 here. If they go 40 yards, right? Dicker made a 47-yard field goal. If you're back in that territory, you got to go about 40 yards, maybe 35 yards, right? So all you need is 35 yards on this drive to get into field goal territory, potentially make it a tie game. 35 yards. You can't get plays. You can't. You're telling me Joe Lombardi has no plays. No plays. Even against a good defense like the Niners, right? And we know that they're a good defense. We recognize that. No excuse, though. You can't get 35 yards. It's these, and this is what I was talking about last night. Situationally, the situational football sucks on this team. It doesn't matter who you have as quarterback, and it doesn't matter all. If you can't put together a drive where your offense with the Justin Herbert at quarterback can pick up 35 yards, you're gonna have a tough time. And it doesn't matter what all these fans are talking about this and that, and the playoff hopes are still alive. If you can't pick up 35 yards right here in the fourth quarter with 7 minutes left, you're not going to do shit. You can't do anything in the playoffs. You can't do nothing in the playoffs. It's not like all of that stuff is more advanced. Playoff stuff is advanced. The game planning, all that stuff, all that is advanced. Right here, you have an opportunity to tie the game. You have a situation to tie the game. You have a situation where you can put a lot of pressure on the Niners. You can put a lot of pressure on their defense, right? You can, get a couple of first downs. Now, all of a sudden, they're back on their heels, right? And they have to adjust to what you're doing as opposed to the Charger offense adjusting to what they're doing. So this is who we have. This is who we have. And again, the players are only doing what they're told to do. The coaching staff, they're the ones who are shepherding this team, and they're doing a piss poor job of it. And all of this falls on Brandon Staley. He's not the offensive guy, but this falls on him. He hired Joe Lombardi. He allows him to do this type of stuff. This call came in Brandon Staley's headset. He heard this call. He hears all the offensive calls, right? Because he has veto power because he's the coach. This came into his headset, and he didn't veto it. He let this happen. And he knew that the Niners are going to line up in this alignment. He knew that they're lining up in this alignment. They stayed in this alignment all game long. They didn't deviate. Like I said, the Niners don't deviate. Their defense is so good. You adjust to them. They don't adjust to you. So you have to make adjustments to them. That's just the name of the game. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. That's just how good and how sound and how disciplined they are on the defensive side of the ball. You have to adjust to them. You have to try to take your shots in different places. You adjust to them. So this is what the Niners, we knew that they were coming out in this. Brandon Staley knew that this play was being called, and look at the results of it. Look at that. In what world? This is 1st and 10. Now it's 2nd and 16 after that. It's 2nd and 16 after that. Let's watch it again. 2nd and 6. He's not blocked. He's not blocked. He's not blocked. Nick Bosa is one of the best, one of the absolute best defensive players in the league. Is not blocked. Watch it again. Watch him right here. Come straight up, never touched. Never touched. Just come straight up field, never touched. He's not blocked. Why? Why does this happen? Why and how does this happen? Again, watch it again. Watch Foster Sarah. He gets out. He tries to go upfield. And even he's late here with 51 too. So even if Bosa misses it, 51's coming because Sarah got no piece of him. Like, who calls this? And why do you call this? Let's here. I'm gonna pause it. Why do you call this? Right. So there's a lot to take away from just this play. This play, I'm glad that I had this because this shows how shitty of a play caller Joe Lombardi is, and it shows that he has no fundamental understanding of offense. He's just out there literally calling plays. He's like, this is the human, real version of Madden. This is what he's doing. He has no fundamental understanding of offense. He is just calling plays. He does not understand anything here because you look at this, right? You look at this alignment. You have a guy making his first career start, Foster Sarah, right tackle, right? And he was, he wasn't great, right? He wasn't great. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't a disaster, but he wasn't great. And they tried to help him out as much as they could. He needed all the help that he can get, right? Okay, so you have this guy here. This is his first career start at right tackle. You have this guy here who we know, we obviously know him because his brother is just as good as him, right? Both of these guys are all pros, perennial all pros at their positions at defensive end. You have this guy here who is a game record. This guy here can, if you have the best game plan in the world as the offensive coordinator, this guy here can fuck all of it up. He can ruin all of it. You can have the best game plan in the world. You can have the most creative plays. You can do, all the window dressing and all that stuff. This guy here can ruin all of it, and we know this. We've seen him do it before. He's made a career out of it so far, right? Especially when he's healthy like he is now, he ruins games. That's what he does. That's what he's known for. So this is something that they know all of this, right? All of this information is known. It's known to us fans, so it's known to the coaches, right? They still want to run this. But here's the thing. And just like I pointed out yesterday, and I'm glad that I pulled this up because I can point this out. Look at Austin Ekeler, right? He is in the backfield here. I want everybody to look at him. What I talked about during the live stream yesterday, setting up these runs. And everybody talks about how Joe Lombardi is calling the same exact offense as Sean. This is the Sean Payton offense. I've heard so many people say this, so many uninformed fans who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, saying Joe Lombardi is basically the Sean Payton. If the Chargers hire Sean Payton, it's basically going to be the same thing. No, it is not. No, it's not. I can't even remember the last game that the Chargers ran a actual jet sweep, right? And every now and then they'll do the motion just because. This is a play that has to be set up. This has to be set up because, again, the Niners are not adjusting. The Niners are not coming out in anything different. They are 4-3. They're 4-3, and they have their 3 linebackers in. Even with this, all the receivers in, right? You have 1, 2. You have a tight end here. All of these guys can go out on routes. You have DeAndre Carter, even if it's a fake, he can go out on routes. They trust their linebackers to cover, right? They're not going to deviate from what they do. This is what the Niners do. We know what they do. They stay doing the same thing every single game, every single down. You have to adjust to them. I'm going to drive this point home. So this is a play that needs to be set up if you are going to run this. This is the fourth quarter, 7:54 left. You absolutely have to set this play up. You cannot pull this out of your ass and run this. This is a cold jet sweep. It has to be set up. It has to be set up. You cannot do this. And this was not set up because watch the play. I'm gonna run the play again. Watch Austin Ekeler. This jet sweep motion is coming across, right? They know that it's going to him. They know it's going to him because they never set this play up. They never set this play up. They didn't set it up in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. They did not set this play up because look at Austin Ekeler. This is the guy here who can gain some yards, right? This guy can rip off a 20-yard run. They know the ball is not going to him. There is no sleight of hand. There's no deception in this. They know the ball is not going to him. So when I play this again, watch Austin Ekeler and watch nobody follow him. So he takes it, fake, nobody. Nobody. Nobody follows him. Watch. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna try to pause it at the area. See, right there. So it's a fake handoff to Austin Eckler. Who is paying attention to Austin Eckler? Who's paying attention to him? Nobody. This guy right here stays the defensive end on this side. He stays in his area and contain, right? Because this is his area to keep contained, just like Bosa on the other edge. They keep contained. They keep contained. Nothing gets outside of him. So the only person that's paying attention to Eckler is this guy right here, because this is contained. Everybody else, look at where everybody else's helmets, look at where they're looking, right? Now Bosa's already got him. He's already made the play. But look where everybody else is looking. He's looking here. He's looking here. He's looking here, right? Even though they're getting blocked. He's looking here. He is looking here. He's, even if Bosa doesn't, clean this, Bosa doesn't have a clean tackle, this guy's coming to help out and clean it up, right? Still going to be lost. He's looking here. Him, corner on the other side, he's looking here. Fred Warner, he's looking here. Ward, he's looking here. It didn't get set up. This did not fool anybody. These types of plays have to be set up, right? And if you have the right offensive coordinator, if you have an Andy Reid will run this same action. He will run this same action for three quarters, and he'll give the ball to the running back every single time. Bam, running back every single time, 10, 11 carries. Then in the fourth quarter, he will hand that ball off to McCole Hardman, and McCole Hardman will run, up the sideline, gain 20, 30 yards, whatever, hit him for a big play. But he will set that up. Andy Reid will set that up. He will set it up. This was not set up, right? And this was a crucial drive. The Chargers had to get something on this drive, because if they didn't, and they had to punt, with the way the Niners were running the ball, it was going to be, tough sledding to try to stop these guys. So this was the best chance. This was the absolute best opportunity to go down the field and at least tie the ball game up. This was the best opportunity. And from that point, whatever happens, right? But this was the best opportunity the Chargers had to go down the field and tie the game up. They didn't do it. And this was the first down play call. -6. -6. So 1st and 10 at the 25. Now you're in 2nd and 16 at the 19-yard. How are people okay with this? Like, how are Charger fans feeling okay? How are you feeling optimistic if you're a Charger fan? How are you feeling optimistic waking up knowing that this guy is here calling play? This how in a game this close with so much on the line, right? The Chargers could use this win. They really could have used this win. They could have tried to parlay some of that momentum into next week against Kansas City. They could have used this win. Why? Like, how can you be this optimistic? This is a game of inches, right? I get that the players played hard and all of that stuff, but this is a game of inches. This play right here, this is significant. This is significant. If there was like a percentage that you can have, if there's like some analytics model where you can plug in the percentage, how much did this play affect losing the game? I would guess that it's up there. It's pretty high, probably like 30, 40%. Just this one play here, this sets you behind the sticks so bad, like against a good defense. So why would you not want to go out there and attack this defense as opposed to try to fool them when they're not going to be fooled, when they line up in the same alignment every single damn play? They line up in the same alignment. Even when the Chargers went 4 wide receivers, they still kept their 3 linebackers in. Even when you go heavy, their 3 linebackers are in. Right? When you go 4 wide, their 3 linebackers are in. They're in the same alignment every single play. Every single play. Like, they do this. This is what they do. They do. This is what they do. You're not going to fool them. So you have to execute. You have to call plays that can be executed at a high level. This play can't be executed at a high level, man. It just can't. And again, somebody pointed Craig Smith, the toxic positivity. Oh man, I just feel so great. Feel so great about how they play. We didn't get blown out, so I feel so great. How? Because even though this is the Niners, you pull this play out against the Bills, you pull this play out against the Dolphins, you pull this play out against the Titans, this is still going to lose you games. It doesn't matter. The opponent right now doesn't matter. This type of stuff will lose you games. This crucial of a drive, this late in the game, this will lose you games. This is a big fucking deal. This is not a small thing. This is a big deal. This is huge. How can people feel so optimistic when you see stuff like this? You can't win with stuff like this. You cannot win with trash plays like this. You cannot win. And this is, I made the video a long time ago. What's it been? 3 months now about Lombardi. It's a philosophy thing. His philosophy, he doesn't have a philosophy. And I can correct myself now. I was saying his philosophy is to be conservative. This right here shows that he has no philosophy at all. He does not have a fundamental understanding of calling offense at this level in the NFL. He does not have an understanding of this because this would not even be on the play sheet against the Niners. A jet sweep would not even be on the play sheet. If it was to be on the play sheet, this is one of the setup calls, right? You have calls early in the game that set up other plays later in the game. That is what experienced offensive coordinators do. Joe Lombardi is not that. He's not that. This is big. This is huge. This is huge. This play is indicative of the season that it's been for the Chargers on offense. This is indicative of it. This is big. This is big. This is big. This is huge. And like I said, I was waiting for the tape to come out, but I'm glad I was able to catch this play on Twitter because I just wanted to show everybody. And I paused it here and I looked, and who's looking, who's looking, who knows where the ball is going, who knows where the ball is going. The Niners do. They know where it's going, and they didn't have to adjust. They didn't have to do anything. This is their base defense that stopped this play here. So this is what we are dealing with as Charger fans. This is what we are dealing with. This is the reality. All this chipper stuff is bullshit, man. It's bullshit. If you can stay as positive as you want to, but all your positive thoughts, all your positive tweets ain't gonna do nothing with this. This right here exists. This exists in reality. The positive thoughts, the positive tweets. You can speak your positivity into existence. Go ahead. I'm not telling nobody not to, but it ain't gonna do nothing against this. Your positive tweets ain't got shit to do with this right here. It's not making this any better. And looking Justin Herbert looking at this like this is some bullshit. What are we doing? Look at him looking. What are we doing? What are we doing? And the play was slow developing as well too. This was not a crisp, jet sweep. This was a training camp jet sweep here. I don't know. This looks like something that you would pull out with playing Thanksgiving, football while you're waiting for everybody to finish the food and going to eat. This is what you do in the front yard. This is the type of play you do in the front yard. This is so bad. This is so bad. The people who are comparing Joe Lombardi to Sean Payton, stop it right now. Just stop it. You have no idea what you're talking about. This is not even close. This ain't even close. This is not even close to anything that Sean Payton would do. You think Sean Payton would be running this, knowing that this guy right here, knowing that this game record right here is going to, just come up and be unblocked, right? He's unblocked. He's unblocked. Like this is trash. You need to scrap these plays. These plays shouldn't even be. If you go into a game with a certain philosophy, these plays don't even come up, right? If you want to be safe, if you don't want to turn the ball over against this defense, if you don't want to have negative plays, these type of plays are not even in the playbook. They're not on the call sheet. You don't even go to those. You look past those. You go with things that can be executed at a high level. And this stuff can't be executed at a high level. And I can't even remember if anybody out there knows the last time the Chargers ran a jet sweep, it's been, like I said, I haven't seen a actual jet sweep. Maybe they did it against the Jaguars in week 3, maybe week 2 against the Chiefs. I don't know. It's been a long ass time. They haven't ran the jet sweep. And not only that, DeAndre Carter is not the speed guy that, should be. I mean, I know he's probably the fastest guy on this team right now. It's healthy, but it's not. It's just such a bad play. There's no words. I wish there was a set of words to describe how bad this is for an NFL team and how bad this is for the Chargers. I don't think I've ever seen anything this bad for the Chargers, to be honest. Like, yes, there were some lean years with Phillip Rivers and all of this stuff. But this here is just bad, man. This here is bad. It's terrible. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. What's up, Rick? Love this channel, brother. You really know your game. He runs a jet sweep directly at our player's brother. Right. Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa are two of the most vicious players on the spot. Yes. And both of these guys, both of the Bosa brothers play the edge as well as anybody in the league. I think they're the two best at it. I know Max Crosby gets a lot of credit, but give me a Bosa over Max Crosby any day. Give me a Bosa over Max Crosby any day. I see Max Crosby getting dominated sometimes at the line of scrimmage. I don't see the Bosa brothers getting dominated physically like that. They're both strong and they're built. They're built and they're muscular and they're built for this. So give me a Bosa any day over anybody else in Max Crosby. Even a Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is, he can flash. I think he flashes a lot in the passing game, but sometimes he looks like he's unmotivated, right? Sometimes he looks like he's just going through the motion. Give me a Bosa any day. You want somebody to defend a jet sweep? Give me a Bosa any day, either of them. And yeah, you see that. You see what happened here. That's what the Bosas do. That's how they have made their games. Like it's beyond me. It really is. It's beyond me. It's ridiculous. And how isn't Nick Bosa blocked? That's the style of this play, though. This is he's unblocked on purpose. Watch, I will run it again. Hopefully this software doesn't lag too much, but I'll run it again. I'll run it from the beginning. Look at Foster Sarrell right here. He's trying to get upfield and he's trying to get to 51. So he is not blocking him. See, he's unblocked here. Foster Sarrell is trying to get here to 51, and he's late. He didn't get there. So, which is also stupid too, because and this is something I talked about throughout the week. The Niners linebackers cover better than any other group of linebackers in the league, and I said they all probably are 4.6, at least 4.6 and below. Because Fred Warner, he can run with tight ends, he can run with running backs. All of these guys, they can all run with tight ends. They can run down. They're fast as hell. And when they come downhill towards the line of scrimmage, if you're running any plays, any traps, any counters, and you have pulling guards and all that stuff, you better get a hat on them because they will shoot the gap. They're fast. They all have very fast first steps, and they come through. They come like bats out of hell when they attack the line of scrimmage. So having Foster Sarrell trying to come up and make this block right here, you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot. That would be asking a lot of Trey Pipkins too. You're asking a lot. You are asking a lot for your big, slow lineman to come down here and make this block on one of the faster linebackers in the NFL, right? Number 51. I can't pronounce his last name. I think he's got like a hyphenated last name. I can't remember what his last name is, but he's fast though. He's fast. I've seen him in coverage. Very, very fast, right? Almost as fast as Fred Warner. Maybe he is faster than Fred Warner. I don't know, but you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot for your tackle on any type of play, not just a jet sweep, but your tackle. You're asking a lot for him to come up and make this block in space. This is not here in the box. It's not here in the box. You're not in a compacted area. This is making this block in space. Look at how much space there is out here. He can shed this by just running past him. That's asking a lot. That's asking too much. And for any offensive coordinator to call this play, you got to make sure that you are blocking this up because this is asking too much. This is asking way, way, way too much. Way too much. I would be afraid to even call this, knowing that I am going to leave this guy, Nick Bosa unblocked, then asking your tackle to come up here and make this block here on this linebacker who is fast and who can shoot gaps very, very well. I would be hard pressed. That I could not do that. There's no way that I would be able to do that. I could not have the balls to call that because I know that disaster is looming if I call this with just this guy right here. Because we're lucky that Carter held onto the ball because this could have been a fumble, right? He got a piece of him, and if he got his hand on the ball or if he tried to punch that out, whatever, that ball's coming out. If Bosa actually went for the ball, that ball's coming out. I think it's coming out. They're lucky that he even hung onto the ball, but this is bad. These are turnover-worthy plays. These are plays that are disaster can happen. There's nothing good that can come from this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing good that can come from this. So you see here, he's unblocked. That's the design of the play. Don't know why, but it's the design of the play. And listen, I'm going to play it here. It has a little bit of lag, so excuse that. But yeah, so let me play it again. So that you can see now. So now that you can see, he's goes past him and he tries to get 51, doesn't get 51, comes down, and yeah. So that's what the play design was, and that's what the that's what the Chargers went out there and did on first down, right? On a drive that you have to score on. The game is pretty much if you don't score and you punt the ball away, the game is pretty much over because the Niners got that run game going. It's pretty much over at that point. So yes, that's what they did. That's what they did. Nick Bosa was unblocked. That was the scheme. That was the that was schemed into the play to have this dude right here unblocked. This guy right here that everybody knows, all pro. That was the scheme to have him. I can't even keep a straight face. That's how stupid it is. That was the scheme of this play. Don't block this guy. Hey, 1st and 10. Don't block this guy. That's that's who's calling plays for the Chargers. That's who's calling plays for that. It's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. When I even say it, I can't even believe I said it. 1st and 10, right? Let's go run a play. Let's run a trick play, and let's not block this dude. Let's not block this dude right here. Even though we watched tape of him blowing up other offenses all season long, let's not block him. Let's not block him and let's see what happens, right? Just forget about him. Just don't worry about him. Let's not block him. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Even though his brother's on our team and he is just as good as him, like don't block him. Don't block him. Don't don't do it. Don't do it. He's been all pro, right? 17, 18 sacks and all this stuff. Don't do it. Beating some of the best, tackles left and right in the NFL over the past 3 seasons. Right, we're going to run a play on first down. This is a drive we have to score on, guys. If we don't score on this drive, we're probably not going to win the game. So, all right, so we understand that we're probably not going to win the game. Okay, so on first down, what I want you guys to do is go out there, run a jet sweep. Don't block Nick Bosa, okay? We know how good he is. We know how good this motherfucker is, but just don't block him. Don't block him, okay? Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Let's just play it out. Let's just see. Let's just see. Maybe he won't be as good as he always is if we don't block him, right? So he's good. He's good when we block him. So maybe if we don't block him, he won't be as good, right? I don't know. I don't know what the. I don't know. I don't know what the. I don't know what the thinking is, but there is just so much bullshit going on. There's so many fans who are just so, just so grateful for the performance last night. And you see stuff like this and you think, how are you ever going to win a game? How are the Chargers ever going to win more than 6 or 7 games this season, right? When you see stuff like this, how can it happen? It's just, these are the little things. These are the little things that people want to talk about, injuries and all of this stuff. This play had nothing to do with no injuries. I just want to be clear on that. This had nothing to do with injuries. Deciding to not block one of the best defensive players in the league has nothing to do with injuries. Mike Williams don't have nothing to do with Keenan Allen. Don't have nothing to do with any of the defensive linemen that got hurt last night. Nothing to do with it has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. So people who are just chalking this up as, man, we're just injured and we're going to get back and all of this stuff. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can get all the best Chargers who have ever put the uniform on and put them out there. And if you got this play call, it's still going to result in the same thing. It still will result in the same thing. This is a coaching thing. And this play shows it perfectly. Perfectly. Don't buy the injury excuses. That is a shit sandwich. They are trying to feed you a shit sandwich. And they want you to thank them for the delicious meal. They are trying to feed you a shit sandwich. Do not fall for it. Don't fall for it. No way. No way. No way. There's absolutely not. Let's see, what did Josh say? They were helping him every play early, then seemed to abandon it a bit. Yeah, they did abandon him, and they let him go one-on-one a lot. And especially in the second half, that's part of the reason why the Chargers only had 52 yards. That's part of the reason why some of the pressures got there, too, in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter as well. They're trying to feed you a shit sandwich, and they want you to be okay with it. They really do. It was insane that Sorrell was left on the island versus Nick so often. Like, bro, yeah, that's what they do. This is a one-size-fits-all offense for Lombardi. This is how Lombardi's calling offense. And this is why I'm not buying the injury stuff. I'm not buying it. If you are injured and if you use injuries as an excuse, if you use that as an excuse and if you want to talk about injuries, okay, fine. But just like I said the other day, when other teams get injured, do they come out playing the same way? No, they don't. They don't. They just don't do it. They don't do it. Like I said, I bring up the Chiefs all the time, and I know we're in the same division and all that stuff. But damn it, I'm gonna talk about good coaching, and I'm gonna juxtapose this to the shitty coaching that we have. Andy Reid is a good coach. He knows what he's doing. He knows who he has. He knows who his personnel is. The Chiefs do not play the same way that they play with Tyreek Hill, right? Why would they play the same way without Tyreek Hill? They don't do it. This is not a one size fits all offense. So Andy Reid knows he has schemed up stuff for the players that he has now. Notice the Chiefs are running the ball a lot more, right? They didn't run the ball all that much with Tyreek Hill there. They tried to go downfield, try to get fancy and all that stuff. They're running the ball. They're running more power stuff this year, right? Because they have to. They don't have the speed. They don't have the game-breaking speed like they have with Tyreek Hill. So they have adjusted, right? You see Brian Daboll in New York. What are they doing over there, right? They do a mishmash of everything. They win games though. They're 7-2. They're 7-2. They do what they have to do. They establish the run, and they ask Daniel Jones, just go out there, just be good on third down. You're going to have a lot of 3rd and 4. You're going to have a lot of 3rd and 5. Just complete passes on 3rd down. Don't take any chances. If it's not there, fine. We'll punt. We'll go out. We'll play good defense, and we'll put you back in a position to where you can, score points, right? Get out there, go put touchdowns in the end zone, in the red zone, right? Go out there, even if you have to kick some field goals. Go do that. We're going to play good defense. We're going to support you, right? We're going to insulate you with everything that you need. That's what they asked him to do. The Chargers asked Justin Herbert to go out there and be Superman every single play. And it's not fair. And you run plays like this, you get a loss of 6 yards on a 1st down for a crucial drive, literally a game-tying, potential game-winning drive. This is what you do. You put him in 2nd and 16. Okay, now go ahead and save us now. Now it's just straight drop back. We're going to run routes on the field. Now it's up to you, Herbert, to thread the needle and save us. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. NFL doesn't work like that. This is what fans need to see. Ain't no injuries. There's nothing. There's nobody coming back on this team that can save us from this. Nobody. Not Slater, not Allen, not Williams. Nobody can save us from this, because this is losing shit right here. You will lose. If you have any type of stuff like this going on any team, this is losing football. Losing football. You have somebody who does not understand. He's in over his head. He's in over his skis now. He's in over his skis, and it is extremely clear. And anybody who's defending him is just defending him just because, right? They have fell for the propaganda. They have fell for the bullshit that the Charger, the team media is putting out, the team beat reporters. You're falling for that. And the beat reporters and all these people there, they woke up early this morning trying to spin it. They woke up trying to spin this. Oh, well, these injuries are just so bad and all this stuff. And they are. I agree. I'm not saying that they're not. But plays like this have nothing to do with injuries. Stopping the run has nothing to do with injuries. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. It has nothing to do with injuries. People want to talk about it all the time. It doesn't have anything to do with injuries. The Chargers weren't stopping the run before Otito got injured. They weren't stopping the run before Christian Covington got injured. They weren't stopping the run. They haven't been stopping the run all season long. So all of this stuff has very little, if anything, to do with injuries. This is situational football. And this is the type of stuff that loses you games. And this is the type of stuff that keeps you mediocre as a team. This is mediocre shit. Mediocre. And that's what it is. So people can talk about injuries all they want to. They can see, the bright side of things all they want, but this is bad. This is bad stuff. This is bad stuff. This is losing stuff. And there's no way anybody should be feeling great about this after, a loss. There's no way. I don't feel good about it. There's no way. Like, why? Why should you feel good about this? Not a chance. Not a chance. It's beyond me how Charger fans feel good after this. So I'm saying too. Why? Why would you feel good? There's no reason to feel good, man. It's crazy. We don't feel good about coaches, but we know we have a lot of the necessary pieces when it comes to the players. We just need the right man leading this unit. Right. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't feel good about coaches. Like, the coaching can stop everything. You can have great players out there, but coaching can stop everything. When you're getting these type of calls, when you're running that type of stuff, and you are that, misguided as a play caller to think that type of stuff will work, Didn't matter who you have out there. It really doesn't. Really doesn't, man. On paper, we should have slaughtered, but the depth had to fight and hung in there with a decent team that got most of their weapons back. There's reason to be optimistic. Yes, with the players though. With the players, with coaching is not. I'm not optimistic, and I broke it down too on Twitter earlier. I'm gonna get to that a little bit. Man, all of us can break down the film, but we see the same thing. This team lacks a true leader. I'm tired of going in circles. There's not a leader. We know Lombardi is garbage. Right. And Brandon Staley's supposed to be that leader. And like I said, that play call came into his headset, and he didn't veto it. He didn't veto it. They ran it. They ran it. They ran it. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Players out here looking lackadaisical based on the scheme. Yeah, because they know that they are not going to do anything. Like, especially when it's again situational football. Everybody has to be good situationally, and you know I've talked about it here on the channel a lot. The situational football, but situational coaching is I think it trumps the situational players like the playing the whatever goes on in the field. What you do situationally as a coach, that's where it starts for your team, right? Clock management, doing all that stuff, right? The making sure that you're good on third downs on both sides of the ball, right? Make sure you're good on third down as an offense. Make sure you're good on third down. On defense, getting off the field and all that stuff. I think all of that starts coaching though. And this team is so bad situationally, so bad situationally. It comes down to these games, tight games, right? They're so bad situationally, and the Chargers have lucked out a couple of times this season against the Broncos, right? They get the lucky turnover, in overtime. Against the Browns, right? Too, that should have been the game that the Chargers lost because of Brandon Staley going for it with the analytics and all of that stuff. That is bad situational football. All of it is bad situational football. Last night, bad situational football. You see the first down play call, put you behind the sticks, way behind the sticks with a very good defense. All of it is situational. And if you don't have coaches who understand situational football, there's no way your team is going to succeed in these situations because it comes down to mostly, and there's a lot of parity in the NFL this year, right? All of these games, I think this has been the most, closely competed season ever. I think there's a lot of games that are coming down to like final possessions. A lot of games being decided by less than 3 points or whatever. There's been so much of that going on this year. So if your team is not good situationally, you can't go out and you can't win in these types of games. You have to be better situationally. And if you're not a good situational team, you're going to struggle, right? Even look at the good teams, right? Even look at Buffalo. These past 2 weeks, what have they done? They have been terrible situationally. They have not done what they have been. They have not done what they are supposed to do situationally. Yesterday they lost that game, and the reason why they lost that game, they couldn't even snap the ball out of the end zone. Right, they had the ball at the 1 yard line, couldn't snap the ball out of the end zone, fumbled. They go into overtime and all that stuff, but they still ended up losing. But it's situational football. They had some of the same type of situational gaffes the previous week against the Jets too. Situational football is important. It doesn't matter who you have out there. It doesn't matter how much talent you have. You have to be able to execute when there's 3-4 minutes left on the clock. You have to be able to do these things, right? And some of these things don't show up on the play, the stat sheet as well, too. Some of them don't show up on what I just showed you. That play doesn't show up on the stat sheet. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet. The Joe Lombardi call doesn't show up on the stat sheet. All it shows is it's a loss of 6 yards. But as far as the coaching decisions go, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. It doesn't say, he was bad here. This a mark, for him situationally here. It doesn't show up. It just comes in as another play call, another play. And, the players ultimately are the ones that kind of take the blame for it, I guess. But it's just situational stuff like that you cannot be shitty at. If you're shitty situationally, your team is going to be shitty. So this is why I'm saying, and this is my entire point. Everybody is feeling so optimistic and all of this stuff. You do not have a coach. We do not have a coaching staff that is good situationally. So when it comes down to if it's this next game against the Chiefs, if it's close, if it's within 3-7 points, right, with 6-7 minutes left or whatever, who's better situationally? Is Andy Reid? Who do you have? You have Andy Reid, or do you have Brandon Staley, situationally. Who do you have? Who do you have? Who do you have more faith in? I don't have faith in them situationally. And this is what it boils down to. When you talk about playoff success and all of that stuff, you have to be good in situations. That's what it boils down to. These situations that come down to winning ball games. If you are not good in those, you have no chance of having any type of success. And this is where the Chargers suck. And they have, I think we have been, well, not me, but I think there's a lot of fans who have kind of been phased by that. Oh, we're still 5-4. Yes, we have lucked our way into 5-4. We've lucked our way into some victories. That shit doesn't happen in the playoffs, though. If you're not good situationally, you're not going to luck yourself into no damn victory. You have to be good situationally, right? Maybe the other team, will shit the bed, right? Maybe they will. Like Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game last year, right? He shit the bed. He was terrible in the second half. He couldn't even, complete passes. Like he shit the bed. He was bad. But you have to give the Bengals credit last year because situationally they were good. On third downs, what did Joe Burrow do? He went out, ran the ball, right? Was able to pick up first downs. He used his legs to get first downs. They were good situationally. They stayed on the field, on third down, right? They picked them up, were able to move the ball. Defensively as well, too. Their defense was able to get off the field on third downs, right? They were able to turn Mahomes over. They were good situationally. They were, even though they had a terrible first half, they were good situationally. They made up for it by playing great situational football. This is what the Chargers don't do. And this is why the injuries don't matter. This is why none of this shit matters, because situationally they are terrible. They're piss poor. They do not call good plays. Brandon Staley, his defense sucks situationally. They were bad again last night on third down, especially in the second half. They were not able to get off the field. These are winning and losing type of situations, and the Chargers are not good at it. And it doesn't matter who you have on the field. If your coach doesn't recognize situational football as being the most important thing towards you winning, towards you having success, towards you even thinking about having any type of playoff success, if you don't have a coach that believes in that, you don't have shit. You don't have shit. So we can look at these players and we can look at these injuries all we want to. The Chargers aren't good situationally. They just not. They're not. And you can go every single game. You can look at the tape. You can watch all of it. And you can see how piss poor they are situationally. In games, they should be winning by, more than a touchdown. They're barely squeaking out. They're getting lucky here and there. A lucky bounce here and there. They're bad. They're bad. Even last week in Atlanta, they go. The Chargers have they're driving down the field for the last second field goal. What does Austin Eckler do? He fumbles the damn football. Right, 95 picks it up. He's running with it. I don't think he's going to score, but if he holds onto the ball, the Falcons now have the ball at about the 50-yard line, right, with a minute and something. Or no, it was less than a minute. I think it was like 45 seconds left or whatever it was. If 95 doesn't fumble the football, 95 fumbles the football, Chargers jump back on it, then they're able to go down and get that field goal. That's bad situational football. Austin Eckler fumbled the ball in a situation in the game, game-winning drive. He fumbled the football. Again, bad situational football. Bad situational football. That's bad situational football. The Chargers got a lucky bounce, honestly. They honestly got a lucky bounce. That should have been the game that they lost. If Atlanta was a better team, that's a game that they lose. That's a game that the Chargers lose. Situational football means everything in the NFL. And if you're not good at it, then you're going to struggle and you're going to look like how the Chargers look in the last 7 minutes of the game. That was winning time, and they did not show up. It was a piss poor showing. It was not good. It was not good at all. They lost, and they deserve to lose. That's just, it is what it is. It doesn't matter who's coming back. That's why I don't care who's coming. I don't care Mike Williams. I don't care Keenan Allen. I don't care. I don't care. What are the Chargers going to do in situations where it's time to win? They're going to come out and they're going to shit the bed again. That's all they're going to do. They're going to come out and they're going to continue shitting the bed. They're not going to do what they're supposed to do. That is not who they are. They are bad situationally. And we've seen this last night. So we don't have to, to be a positive and all of this type of stuff. They're bad situationally. This is 9 games into the season. We're deep into the season now. There is no moral victories at this point. There's no moral victories. I don't care. If you can, and just like I said yesterday, the Chargers led the game up until 7:54 left. You can lead the game for 52 minutes. That's a game you can win. That's a game you should win, and that's a game that I expect you to win. I'm not happy with leading the game for 52 minutes. Ain't no win-loss record for that. Ain't no win-loss record for 52 minutes of good of decent football. You got to win the game. You got to win the game. You got to be ahead when the clock hits 0. I don't give a shit about that. There's only wins and losses in the columns. There's no M's for moral victories. None of that shit. And we're too late in the season, and this team is way too talented to be taking moral victories away. That's beyond me. And I won't do it. I won't do it. I've been a Charger fan for 20 years. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not taking away no moral victories. If we're winning, we're winning. If we're losing, we're losing. There's no moral victories for that. I don't want to hear that. Sick and tired of that shit. Okay, let me hit some of these comments before I get off. Problem is 100% the coaching staff. I wonder if it's mostly Joe or Brandon, unless they're both really bad combo. Well, this is a nepotism thing. Brandon Staley is friends with Joe Lombardi, so he is there based off his friendship, not anything that he's done in his football career. Because his one, offensive coordinator coaching stop was a disaster in Detroit, so he has not done anything to deserve this job. It's nepotism all the way around. It's ultimately Brandon Staley. He's allowing Joe Lombardi to regress his quarterback 100%. 100%. This is all on Brandon Staley. He is the head man. He deserves all of the blame for this because ultimately he is the one that allows everything to happen. Yes. Staley has impressed me with his plan of defense last 2 weeks, though. Yes, but again, situationally, they're not good. So, I mean, it looks good on tape and all that stuff, but situationally, they don't stop anybody. And if you don't stop anybody in those situations where you're supposed to, it's all for naught. So, yes, better plans, but still not great situationally. So it doesn't mean a whole lot. Let's see. They had cuts in the game showing Joe up in the box picking plays. Yeah, I seen that too. So there's no philosophy there. So he's just hoping shit works pretty much. The defense held out last night. Our offense let us down. This was not Herbert's fault. It's the damn OC. Yeah, 100%. 52 yards in the second half too. That's piss poor. That's not a stat that any injuries or anything can make up for. 52 yards in the second half is nothing. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. There's teams who can do that in one drive. That's ridiculous. I refuse to believe that is something that's okay. It's ridiculous. Jeff Saturday showed yesterday is capable of coaching due to situational awareness. Exactly. It means the world. Situational stuff is way more important than if you do enough just to stay in the game and all of that. Situational stuff means way more. If you're doing if you're breaking down a win and what matters the most, right? The first and third quarters and all of that stuff, yes, it counts for something, obviously. But the fourth quarter in situational football is going to take up most of the pot on the percentage what goes towards winning the football game. That's going to be more than 50%. Fourth quarter situational football, that's going to be more than 50%. If you hit that, if you're good at that, if you're good in that area, you're going to win a lot of ball games, right? Unless you have a bad team, you're just getting blown out, right? But if you're good situationally, that counts for the most. And I don't think a lot of people understand this. It counts for the most. If you're good situationally, you can do anything with any quarterback, any team. It's just a fact, and that's how the NFL has played out. You can go back and look through history. All the good teams, all the Super Bowl teams have been good in situations, good situationally, offense, defense. They haven't been, the best. They don't have to be number one in any certain category, but in situations when it comes down to getting a first down, they can get it. When it comes down to getting a stop, they can get it. That's what good situational football is, and that's how you win in this league. And that's always been how you win in this league. Do you think we can get Josh K back, or is he out too? Who? Josh K? Oh, Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly. Yeah. They said he's going to be out for 4 weeks. He might be ready to go next week. We'll see. The injury reports on. I think they put the first one out on Tuesday or Wednesday, but he might be ready to go. So hopefully he is. The Chargers need him like crazy. So I hope that he is. I agree. Coaching staff has to go. Yeah, that's the only way they're gonna get better. This coaching staff, they're just not it. They're not it. It's been a year and a half, and if there was any greatness in this coaching staff, we would have seen it already. So Justin Herbert is running gun. Let Herbert be the Herbert. Is that too much to ask? Apparently, for this coaching staff, it is. Yes, it is too much to ask for them. Chase doesn't deserve a spot on this team, and that showed last. More coaching errors. Right. and they had him throwing the ball instead of running the ball too. And I was on here on live saying, why not run the ball? Why not run the ball? They had him throwing the ball. Yeah, he's short, he's fat, and he doesn't deserve a spot on any NFL roster. He's stealing money. I don't know why he's the backup. That's why Staley, let Herbert play with that rib injury in week 3. They didn't want Chase Daniel out there because they knew what it looked like. They knew what it looked like. He's a short, little fat guy with no arm, and yeah, it is what it is. That's who we have as our backup. Andy Reid has years of experience with situational football. This is the area where Staley needs the most improvement, but it goes back to getting right. OC and DC, that's as aggressive as Staley is, right? Yeah, and you develop that over years, and that's why the Chargers don't they don't hire coaches who have any type of experience like that with situational football. They don't. They just they kind of just go cheap on coaching and they hope the best pretty much. The last coach, the last Charger coach that I remember that was good situationally was Marty Schottenheimer. He got criticized for it a lot with the Marty Ball stuff, but he did not let bullshit happen in situations, especially when the Chargers had that team that was loaded and that was stacked. He did not let bullshit happen. That 14-2 season, the 05, he did not let bullshit happen. He would run the ball, punt it. You have a good defensive unit, let him go out there and get stops. He was doing things the right way situationally. He wasn't taking chances. He was not allowing any bullshit to happen on his watch. That Marty Ball, it worked. It worked. The Chargers should have went further that year, but Marty Ball worked for the Chargers that year. So he was the last coach I think that was good. The last Charger coach good situationally. Joe Style and Brandon Style don't mess. Nope, they sure don't. Joe is not going to be an offensive coordinator in them. That's why I said this is his last hurrah. That's why I made the video the other day on I think it was Saturday or the live stream on Saturday. This is his last. He ain't going to get hired as no offensive coordinator anywhere else. He has been terrible. His resume as an offensive coordinator will consist of making Matthew Stafford look worse and making Justin Herbert look worse than what they are. That's what his resume is. So what team besides maybe the Texans would take a chance and have this guy calling plays where he is going to regress your quarterback? It is now in his resume. It has happened twice. It's happened twice to 2 Pro Bowl, all pro type guys, right? One of them has a Super Bowl now. That is on his resume. He has gone places and has made quarterbacks all-time arm talent quarterbacks look worse. That is on his resume. So you can best believe he is not going to be an offensive coordinator in this league. The door is shut on him as ever being a head coach. He won't ever be a head coach. He'll stay around the league because of what his last name is, but he will never be an offensive coordinator again. There's no other team that's going to take him as an offensive coordinator. Not if they want to win, and not if they want their quarterback to get any better. Not a chance in the world. This dude is done. He's done as an offensive coordinator. No way, no how. Chargers should be 3-6. They should be, but they've got lucky bounces, and a lot of the fans think that it's something that they have done to get to deserve those, but it hasn't. It's been the lucky bounces, the same lucky bounces that we haven't gotten, in other years. We've gotten this year's, and that's why they're now 5-4. So, it is what it is. There's no way Herbert signs with the Chargers. Like I said it at the end of the live stream last night. Herbert should walk into the Spanos office, drop his nuts on the table, demand who he wants coaching him, demands who he wants on the offense, and demands that he be consulted with all of the draft picks. At least the top 3 draft picks, and be consulted any free agent signings, any trades. He needs to be consulted if he's going to resign. Because if I was him, I wouldn't be talking no extension right now. I would not be talking no extension because they are wasting his prime. He's getting into his prime now. They're wasting it. And yeah, if I was him, I wouldn't be happy at all with that. Facts only if our starters are here, like the Chargers had the lead for most of the game, means they could have led them to win. Exactly. They almost pulled it off, almost pulled the upset off, but then they shit the bed the last 7 minutes of the game. Now it's injuries. Like, get out of here with that, man. I don't want to hear that. They can go and play the world's smallest violin on Twitter. I don't want to hear that shit. Ridiculous. He said it himself. There's more victories in the NFL. It's win or It's you win or you lose. Yes, yes. It's a win or loss. There's no column for moral victories. And if there was, then I don't know, man. It's not there's no it's not there. It's just not there for me. It does nothing for me as a fan. I'm not excited. I don't care. I don't give a shit. They lost the game. They shit the bed the last 7 minutes of the game. A game that they could have won, and I don't feel great about it. It is what it is. Tough being a Charger fan. It seems like we're cursed, right? Yep, we're cursed with bad coaching. We're cursed with shitty ownership. So Barty needs to go. Yes, sir. Raiders picked up Tillery. Did they really? Wow, that's interesting. He seems like a Raider player too. He's especially his disposition. The past couple of weeks, what was being reported. He wants to play he probably signed with the Raiders because he wants to play the Chargers one time, so he thinks that he can get back or whatever. I don't know, but he'll be out the league pretty soon. So could be worse. We could have Nathaniel Hackett or Josh McDaniels, worst coach division by a mile, except for injury. Yeah. Right. Definitely. Yeah, this is we all Charger fans. I think we all overrated this team. We overrated this division. I did a lot of videos too. I eat a lot of crow right now. I said this is going to be the one of the best divisions, of all time. This is not. This is the Chiefs and everybody else. The Chiefs and the Chiefs and the guys. The Chiefs and the dummies or whatever group name you want to give this. This is the Chiefs, the head, and then everybody else is literally shitting on themselves. This is one of the worst. This is one of the worst AFC West divisions that I've seen, especially with all this talent in the division. Man, it's just yes. The coaching is piss poor. Andy Reid is not being challenged at all. He is going to be the best coach as long as he wants to be in this division, unless Belichick decides he wants to come to the Chargers or something like that. But this is going to go down as one of the worst divisions of all time. This is ridiculous. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Let's see. Well, Easton Stick if they don't use him. And I said this to begin to. They had 3 quarterbacks for no reason. They had 3 quarterbacks because they liked them all personally, and nothing had to go with stuff on the field. It's all who they like personally. Like Tom Telesco is he clearly has his guys who he has personal relationships with. He has these favorites. That's why he doesn't cut anybody. That's why Jerry Tillery should have been cut a long time ago. He kept him on the roster. The Chargers need change at the GM position as well too. You need a GM who comes in and handles business and is not paralyzed by personal relationships. I would prefer to have a GM who doesn't have any personal relationships with anybody. I'm evaluating you based on your play, right? This has nothing to do with personal relationship, having dinner or whatever. I'm judging you based off your play. If you can cut it, then you will be on this team. If you can't cut it, then we're gonna have to cut you. That's what I would prefer in a GM. But the GM, obviously, he values his personal relationships, and you can see it. Jerry Tillery should have been gone a long time ago. He was his first round pick, but he's consistently stayed with him. He should have been gone. He should have been out of here. He should have been long gone. You look at what was number 94 that he drafted? Corey Liuget. That guy was trash. He kept him around for a long time too. It's just he has these things. He gets these first round picks, and even if they don't hit, he will keep them around. He will just keep them around just because. Get rid of them. Sometimes guys don't pan out, and it's fine. It's the NFL. Nobody is going to blame you for it. It happens to every single team in the league. Get rid of it. These GMs, Tom Telesco specifically, he makes it so much worse by holding onto guys that he knows are not going to do anything. You know if a guy can play. It doesn't take long in the NFL to know if a guy can play. It only takes, a few practices, right? After a month of training camp, if a guy has any type of potential, right? If he's going to get better, if he can play, whatever. That it doesn't take a long time. And then even if you want to be super patient, right? You can give a guy 7-8 games. Okay, kind of know what he is, right? Unless somebody gets a very, very, which is rare, right? Gets very, 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 improved in the offseason. That's rare, very rare, any position. Unless that type of stuff happens, you know what you have in a player. So if a guy can cut it, then, fine, leave him there. If he can't, there's nothing wrong with letting him go. I don't know why Tom Telesco can't do that. I think it's all ego driven, but hey, it is what it is. I guarantee Hackett or McDaniels will do a better job than Staley. I don't know about Staley. I know they would do a better job than Lombardi. I think both of them would be better than Lombardi. I would prefer them over Lombardi, to be honest. With how bad their teams are, I would prefer them. Take away Lombardi's last name. He's literally average Joe who should be jobless. Yep, 100%. People say we have no identity. I say our identity as we go as far as Justin Herbert takes us. Yes. Also, what's the leash on Telesco? I've said that too. We have no identity. We do nothing well. The only thing that we do well is Justin Herbert. That's it. That's it. This team doesn't run the ball well. They don't do anything well defensively. They have no identity. Yes, and it's all Justin Herbert driven. If Justin Herbert doesn't do something spectacular to win the ball game, the Chargers lose. And that's just it is what it is. That's who the Chargers are. They have no identity. Our identity is number 10 behind under center. That's who our identity is. And under Brandon Staley, it's a shame. It's a shame. There's so much talent on this team. There's so much talent coming into the season, but that's the identity. It is number 10. That's it. Number 10 or nothing. Why in the world were the corners giving the 49ers receivers space on a blitz? That's the scheme. That's the zone scheme that Staley runs. It's trash. Don't know why. I don't know why. I talked about it yesterday too while I was on live. Don't know why. I know growing up, the football that I know growing up, if you were bringing a blitz, you're coming up and you're pressing the receivers. You're not letting them get clean off the line, because if you let them get clean off the line, now you're at their mercy. Now, you allow a catch and you have to come up and you have to make a tackle one-on-one. And if that guy is Deebo Samuel or something like that, good luck. It's just not going to happen. I don't know why the Chargers do that. I see a lot. The Chargers are not the only team that does that. There's a lot of other teams that do that too, but to me, it doesn't make sense. If I'm bringing the house, I'm pressing. I want press man coverage on the outside, because the quarterback's only going to have a certain amount of time to set his feet and try to get a throw. And if he sees the receivers out there struggling at the top of the routes and they're hand fighting and all of that stuff, he's going to more than likely hold the ball and take the sack. But if he sees a guy backed up off, 8 yards of space, there's an opportunity to throw a pass, even if it's not accurate. There's an opportunity for him to throw a pass, complete a pass, and then have a receiver go one-on-one with the cornerback. And it's just not an advantageous position. I don't know why they do that, but that's what the Chargers do. So, yeah. Defense played good last night. The offense can't create plays. That's what kills us. Yep. Just like it has pretty much every game of the season. Also, I told my dad about your analogy about forcing Stephen Curry posting up instead of taking threes and playing to his strength. Fantastic analogy. Yeah. That's honestly what it is. That's what you're telling, your best player to do. Don't use your strength. Don't use your God-given strength. Do what I say do, and then, maybe things will work out the way that we want to. Don't use your God-given strength, though. We're not going to accentuate your God-given strength. We're not going to come and support that. We're going to ask you to do something else, and, hopefully it works out. That's bad coaching. Very, very bad coaching. And it's easy, too. Like, I don't know why you would not want Justin Herbert to use his arm. I just don't know. I don't know. We seen what he can do last night, some of them sick ass throws, but it is what it is. Defense did enough to win offense. Offense went bad down the stretch. Yeah, 52 yards in the second half. That is piss poor. That's inexcusable. No matter who is on the field, inexcusable. Herbert would get his way if he did that. Big fat. Yeah, he should. He should go and drop his nuts on the table and not refuse to talk any contract stuff until you get the coaching situation straightened out. He has the power to do that, but he's a quiet guy. He doesn't want to. He don't want to rattle the cages. I don't think he wants to rattle the cages. I think he needs to hire some representation that will rattle the cages for him, though. He should get with like a Drew Rosenhaus or one of these like super asshole agents who can walk into a room and just start talking shit and really put that out there. Like, my client, if he don't get what he wants, then, you're going to have some hell to pay and all that stuff. He needs to hire an asshole client. I mean, asshole type of agent or representation, somebody that works for him and his people that can go in and that can stir the pot up a little bit. that needs to happen in order for Herbert to get supported the way that he needs to get supported. Joe would be good with Jared Goff. Jared Goff would be better than Herbert with the short passing stuff. Chargers fooled us all again. They sure did. They sure did. See, Niners fan here. The team played a hell of a game last night. I mean, they did, but I mean, they shit the bed. They shit the bed with the 7 minutes left to go. They shit the bed. It's inexcusable, and to not even test the Niners defense. I mean, you got to go downfield, and if you turn the ball over, you turn the ball over. It's fine, but like you have to at least test the Niners defense. You got to at least go downfield. Maybe try to get another pass interference call. You got to. They just were so passive. It's just it's sickening. It was sickening. Let's see. What makes the run blocking so bad? They don't. The Chargers don't care about running the ball. That's really all it boils down to. They don't care about running the ball. And I said this when I was on live last night too. It is a much different running the ball has to, like, when you establish that identity has to be established before you even start training camp. That identity has to be established when you are in minicamp. To me, to be honest, like right after the draft, when you bring in linemen, when you draft a Zion Johnson, when you draft a Isaiah Spiller, that running, that hard nose, that physical mindset, that has to be instilled in the springtime. That's not something that you can just flip a switch on, because just like I explained yesterday, pass blocking, and I think it's kind of the same for all offensive linemen. Pass blocking and run blocking are two totally different things, right? They're two totally different things. Pass blocking is a reactionary. You are in a reactionary stance. You're backing up. You are reacting to whatever the defense is doing to you. You're reacting to whatever the guy in front of you is doing, right? Swim move. If he's trying to bull rush, if he's trying to be fancy, with the spin moves and all, you're reacting towards that, as opposed to run blocking. Run blocking, you put your hand in the ground, right? If you're a pulling guard, you come around, you get some speed, you knock somebody the fuck out, and you get them out of the way. You establish a physical identity, right? You go forward, you push forward, you're pushing forward, you are attacking. You're not reactionary, you are attacking. You are going and you're attacking the defensive line. You're attacking blitzing linebackers who come in A and B gaps. It's a different mindset for offensive linemen. So when people say, I hear a lot of people saying that our line isn't good and all of this stuff. Our line is good. You cannot ask your offensive line, though, to drop back 55 times in a game, right, to protect Justin Herbert. He's dropping back 50 times, 40 times. Oh, you cannot ask your offensive line to do that. Then ask them to go out there and road grade and be road graders. You can't do that. You can't do that. You just can't switch. That's not how offensive line play works. That's absolutely not how offensive line play works. You have to establish that identity. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do both. You can absolutely do both. But that identity, that physical identity, always has to be there. And I think it has to be there first, because if you set up that physical run game first, right, you can react to whatever the defense does. Like, you can be reactionary. You can play pass coverage a little better when you establish that physical presence on the line of scrimmage. Once that is established, then you can go to passing and all that stuff. If you don't establish that, then again, you are in a reactionary place. You're in a reactionary phase all game long, and you're reacting to defensive linemen coming towards you. And yes, you can be physical that way as well too, but you cannot be as physical. You absolutely cannot be as physical pass blocking as you can run blocking. You can finish blocks. You can drive guys into the ground. You can fall on them. You can twist their legs. You can do all kind of nasty shit to dudes on the ground, right? When you get them on the ground in pass blocking, in run blocking, you can't really do that in pass blocking. It's a different thing. It's a much different thing. Pass blocking and run blocking is two totally different things. So to ask your offensive line to primarily pass block and then say, hey guys, we need to run block now. Let's start run blocking now. It's different. You gotta, the switch has to be flipped. The Chargers have to run the ball more. That's why they need more attempts. right? And I get the first down runs, they weren't working. And obviously, if you just hand it to Eckler in the dive, then the Niners are going to react to that. You're not going to get a lot of yards, but you have to run the ball second down. You have to run the ball third down. You have to get your linemen used to firing off the ball, moving people, moving men against their will. That's what football is. That's what I love about football. Moving a motherfucker against his will. That is the best football that I've ever been a part of, that I've ever watched. It's physical stuff. You know what we're going to do, but we're still going to do it because I'm moving you out of the way against your will. That to me has always been the best football to watch. That's why when the Niners had Jim Harbaugh as head coach, I loved watching that. I love watching that power game. Everybody knew what was coming. Everybody knew what was coming. Nobody could stop it. Nobody could stop it because they had that physical mindset. All of the linemen had that physical mindset. Fullback had the physical mindset. The tight ends who were blocking had the physical mindset. Running backs had the physical mindset. You know that we're going to run this ball 30 times today. You know it. But guess what? You're not going to stop it. We still going to hit you over the head for 250 yards on the ground because we're more physical than you. We want this more than you. We're going to move you out of the way, and we're going to achieve this. That is the best football. It's not the misdirection and doing all of this stuff and all of that. It's not that. It's definitely not that. You have to establish a physical presence. You have these guys up front. When the offensive line is healthy, this is one of the best offensive lines in the league. Make no mistake about it. Absolutely make no mistake about it. This is one of the best offensive lines in the league. But, it is what it is. Let's see. I disagree with your theory on O-line play. Okay, what parts of it do you disagree with? What parts of it do you disagree with? Because let's see, I bring up BJ. BJ, you heard everything that I said. Do you agree with what I said as far as offensive line play goes? Because BJ, former offensive lineman, so I think I know what I'm talking about here. It's a totally different thing. It's a totally different thing, and it doesn't make sense. It honestly doesn't make sense either because this offensive line, and I explained this last night. This offensive line, when they are healthy, right? When they're healthy, when everybody is in, Rashawn Slater's in, from left to right. This is one of the best units in the league. Talented, right? Everybody. The only question coming into the season was Trey Pipkins on the right side, right? And he's held his own pretty well this season, right? So I don't think the questions are there anymore. But let's see. Okay, O-line should be able to flip a switch whether it's pass. No, you don't. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You don't flip a switch like that. You can't be reactionary and then just go out and do that. You can't do it. That's why all of the best passing teams are not really great running teams. You see what happened with the Chiefs a couple of seasons ago when they were in the Super Bowl, right? When they got blown out in that Super Bowl. What were they not able to do? They were not able to protect Patrick Mahomes, and they were not able to run the ball. That team, and I know they had a lot of injuries on their offensive line as well too, but they were not able to establish a physical identity at all. So they had really no chance of really doing anything. That's why they didn't score a touchdown that whole entire game. With Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and all of that stuff, you can't just go from 60 passes to road grading runs. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. All of the best run teams have always been run oriented. They don't drop back a lot. They don't do that. Notice that the Niners, when they get going and they get the run game going, Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't drop back a lot. They don't do that. All of the best run teams don't do that. Now, they can mix some stuff in, but they don't just primarily go pass and then go back to run and then go to pass. You can't just jump back and forth. Your identity has to be established. If you have a physical offensive line, your identity is established. It doesn't just go back and forth like that. That's not the way offensive lineman works. That's not the way offensive line play works at all. At all. Let's see. What did BJ say? Physicality exists within our talent up front, as was on display last night. The coach has to make this attribute with his players the focal point the way they play. Right. We play with more of a finesse. Exactly. We are finessing, and that you hit it right on the head. BJ hit that right on the head. This is finesse. It's finesse football. Jet sweeps, that's finesse football. Just the play that I just showed everybody, that's finesse football. That is exactly right. That is finesse football. It is not fullback, hand the ball off, collisions, A gap, collisions, B gap, falling forward for yardage. It's let me run around this way. Let me run off tackle this way. Let's run some jet sweeps here. Let's give it to Austin Eckler. Not this. There's no physicality in the run game. So once you establish the physicality in the run game, yes, if you are good at pass protecting, you can do both. But the run game has to have physicality in it in order for it to be anything that anybody is afraid of. And our run game doesn't have any physicality in it. There's no physicality in it at all. Isaiah Spiller is the biggest back on this roster. They don't give him any carries. He had 2 or 3 carries last night. They don't give him any runs. So this is what it is. It's the physicality of the offensive line, and it's having a coach that establishes that. Andy Reid can do that. I think and when I'm bringing Andy Reid up and all this stuff, Andy Reid has his principles. He learned his principles in the West Coast offense, right? The West Coast offense. This is the original Niner offense, right? This is Bill Walsh. This is smash mouth football. This is I'm bringing in the fullback. We're having collisions. This is I'm giving the ball to Roger Craig. We're running the ball 250 yards, right? This is where Andy Reid learned his principles of football, right? So now he is a guy, he kind of deviates from it a little bit because he's so creative. He's able to put some of his best weapons in spots where they can, make plays and the speed guys and all of that stuff. But make no mistake about it, his principles are in the West Coast offense. So Andy Reid can get physical. He can get physical if he needs to. He can have a team go out there and get physical because that's where his principles are. Joe Lombardi's principles are not in this offense, are not what Andy Reid's principles are. They're not in the West Coast offense like that. He did not pick it up. So he does not know how to establish a running game like an Andy Reid does. He does not know how to establish a running game like, maybe even a somebody who coached under Andy, a Doug Peterson or a Nagy or somebody like that. He doesn't know how to establish that type of run game because he doesn't have those principles. He learned from Sean Payton. Sean Payton does have West Coast offense principles, but again, he deviated to create an offense to suit Drew Brees. He's created an offense to suit Drew Brees' his skill set that he had, right? He didn't have a strong arm, but timing was his thing. So timing on the little stick routes and all of that stuff, the motions, the things that kind of throw the defense off, that's what he created for Drew Brees. That's what Joe Lombardi is attempting to call for the Chargers right now. He's doing it, piss poorly. He's trying to do his best Sean Payton impression, but he's not that. But his principles are not in the run game. He did not learn the West Coast offense principles. That's why he cannot get a run game going. And this is directly related to who you have calling plays, who you have designing offense, and what their philosophy is. If your offensive coordinator does not have a philosophy in the run game, your run game will look like shit. And this is why our run game looks like shit. Our run game has never looked this bad. Even in the past with Phillip Rivers, the run game has never looked this bad. You need a coordinator that has principles in the West Coast offense that knows how to run the ball, right? Knows how to get some zone blocking schemes going and can give it to a running back who can stick his foot in the ground, right? Read whatever, he needs to read, right? Set up some blocks, get 5 or 6 yards, right? That's what the Chargers need to do. They don't have that offensive guy. They don't have that offensive mind to do that. That's why the run game looks like shit. That's why it looks the way that it looks. But yeah, that's what it is. The offensive line play is not just one entire thing. They have to be able to gel in the run game. They have to be able to gel, in the pass game. And if you can't do both, obviously Justin Herbert, he can navigate the pocket as well as anybody in the league, but he needs help. He needs help, and he needs a strong run game. And if you can't give him a strong run game, then the offense is going to continue to look the way that it is, especially situationally. You're not just going to be able to pass the ball situationally. You have to be able to set up some of your passes by running the football. And if you don't run the football, then your offense is going to look shitty just the way that it is. So, hey, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. More of a message. It's disappointing to see us be physical in a game like San Francisco and get to see it once every 6 games. Exactly. They're physical, once every 6 games. Maybe a few times a season. That's just, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. They had 2 backup tackles. What do you mean? Plus the drama going on with Andy's son. But they were not physical though, and they weren't physical all season long before then either. They did not have those physical principles. because he had the Tyreek Hills, because you had, you know, the big plays down the field and all of that stuff, it doesn't it doesn't mesh well. You just can't do it. I've rarely seen teams go out and do, you know, run and gun and then come back and then run the ball from an I formation and get yards. It just doesn't happen. There's a finesse mindset when it comes to your offense. If you're cute and you're finesse about it, you're not going to be as physical. And that's just how the game of football is. If you have a lot of trick plays and a lot of finesse stuff, you just cannot be as physical as you can by just handing the ball to the running back and having your offensive lineman move people out the way. It's just two totally different games that you're playing there. And, you know, you see it all the time in college football. College football is more of it's a little more, it plays into what I'm talking about a little more so than the NFL. The NFL, you know, kind of, but when you see a Alabama or you see a Georgia, when you see those type of teams that have offensive lines that will knock you out, or a Tennessee, and you see a USC who kind of gets cute and stuff like that, or a Oregon that will get cute, like those teams, they always win. And yes, they have better talent, but the mindsets of those teams are completely different. One is a finesse team, one is a team that will knock you out. Right? Who do you think is going to win more times than not? And that's pretty much what happens in college football. Finesse and, you know, strength, it just doesn't work. Those are two totally opposite things. And, you know, you can put up pretty numbers in a finesse offense, but when it's time to, you know, get a 3rd and 4 and you run the ball, you're not going to be able to get it. So give me a Jim Harbaugh type of offense, you know, a power I formation, a running it. Give me that anytime before you give me a finesse offense. Please, please. I'm old school like that though. So just find you today. You're the first realistic YouTuber when it comes to the Chargers. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's what I try to be, man. I'm not trying to come up here with false hope and all of this type of stuff. That's why I showed this play. The Chargers, you know, foisted on everybody, you know, with 7 minutes left on a crucial drive. That's why I showed that, because this is not the optimism and all of this stuff is just not there for me. It's not there for me because this is who the Chargers have calling plays. And, you know, you call these type of plays with anybody on the field, it just don't matter. You can have LaDainian Tomlinson on the field. If you're calling this type of stuff, game over. Game over. So thank you. I appreciate it. Realistically, I think Herbert is better than Josh Allen. Allen wouldn't be 6-3 without his primary receivers or his legs. Or Lombardi's pathetic and archaic coaching. Herbert is underrated. Yeah, Josh Allen's having a bad year. The turnovers, man, he's turning the ball over at a historic rate. 2 interceptions a game. You know, you can pencil him in for 2 picks a game. He's got to clean that up. You know, that's what he was doing like his first year in the league, his first couple of years in the league. He was wild. And the running around and all that stuff. He has to be controlled a little bit more. Because that type of stuff is just not, and I don't know if you can coach it out of him either. And if you're a Bills fan, one of those performances in the playoffs, you're done. So, yeah, they have a lot tied into their team financially. They need to clean that up because it's not looking good for them. Herbert needs to hire LeBron's. Yeah, Rich Paul. Yeah, he needs to get Rich Paul. He needs to get Rich Paul, throw his nuts on the table, and start demanding stuff because that's the only way it's gonna happen. That drive, let's see, the drive that it went up by 3 and we gadget run for -5 yards was unforgivable. Anyone still on board with this coaching staff is getting paid. Yeah, the paid propagandists, the Daniel Poppers, the beat writers, they were out. They were out there trying to you know, create the spin today, and injuries, and all I've heard is injuries. That's all I've heard. So yeah, let's yeah. So you were talking about the Super Bowl versus the Bucs. Chiefs had 2 backup tackles at Super Bowl, which is why they lost. Yeah. I know they lost the Super Bowl. I know they had 2 backup tackles, but that season they were a finesse team, is what I'm saying. They were a finesse team. They didn't run the ball that well that season. They were finesse, and then they ended up going up again. Even if they didn't have the backup tackles, they still would have lost that game because the Bucs defense they were hard nosed and they were more physical. The finesse stuff doesn't work. When you have a physical team that punches you in the mouth, the finesse stuff stops working, right? You get punched in the mouth. The finesse, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. That defense was flying around and, you know, they were also able to. They had their linebackers were able to run with Travis Kelce. They shut Travis Kelce down. Levante David and Devin White, they were able to shut him down too. So the Bucks just had the advantage in that game, even without the tackles and all that stuff. Even if they had their starting offensive line, I think they probably would have scored. But I still think the Bucks win. You have a finesse team against a physical team that's punching you in the mouth. There's just no defense for that. There's nothing you can scheme up for that. You just got to take the L and get better. So that is what it is there. Let's see, Lombardi. Daniel hopped on the Staley bandwagon for easy jobs. Thought they riding Herbert's coattails would get them paid for a few more years. They both need to be gone, and they did get paid for a few more years. So I want to see both of them gone next year. They're both they both are liabilities on this team. Bottom line, this team is depleted and is playing with a bunch of third and fourth stringers. Yeah, but 52 yards is nothing though. 52 yards in the in the second half, nothing. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I just showed the play. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If anybody's here that hasn't seen it, anybody here that hasn't seen it, let me show it again. Let me show it again because everybody keeps talking about these injuries here. Let's play this here again. Let's show it again here. Let's show it. So this is the end of the play. Let's play it again. This is third and fourth stringers, but look at this play call. Look at this. Paused it. Third and fourth stringers. What does it matter? What does it matter? Who's this right here? This is one of the best defensive players in the league. What is he doing? Blowing up this play, right? What do the third and fourth stringers have to do with this? Nothing. They have nothing to do with this. Look at where I'm circling at right here. The third and fourth stringers, what does it have to do with this? What do the injuries have to do with this? What does it have to do with this? And you can look at, I'm going to remove your comment real quick. You can look at the time here. 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 53 seconds left. Look at this. What do injuries and what do third and fourth stringers have to do with this right here? What do they have to do? I showed this in the beginning of the live stream, so I'm doing it again for everybody who's here that didn't see this. What do injuries have to do with this? Nothing. They have nothing to do with this. Nothing. This is 1st and 10. The Niners had just scored on their previous drive, right? So this is where the Chargers had to do something. If they didn't score here, the game was pretty much over because the Niners had just got the run game going on that previous drive. So I keep hearing injuries. I keep hearing all this other stuff. I keep hearing all of these excuses. Cool arrow. What does this have to do with injuries here? What I'm circling. What does this have to do with injuries? It has absolutely nothing to do with injuries. The third string tackle couldn't block Bosa. He wasn't supposed to block Bosa. Let's play it again. This was schemed. He was not supposed. Bosa was unblocked. This play was schemed for him to block this linebacker here in space, which he also couldn't do. Number 51. You're asking your right tackle to block this guy here, right? And I don't care if it's your first string. I don't care if it's your second string. I don't care who it is. I don't care whatever right tackle you have in the league. There is no right tackle that can make this block in space on number 51 for the Niners. They have the fastest linebacker core. All these guys are 4'6", 40 and under. You're asking your tackle to block this guy in space. Trey Pipkins couldn't do it. Rashawn Slater couldn't do it. There's no tackle in the league who can come and block 51 in space. Not one. I will put all the money I have in the bank on that right now. Not a single right tackle can block this guy in space. Now, if it's here in the box, maybe. Not a single goddamn right tackle in the league can block 51, 54, or any of the Niner linebackers in space. Not a damn chance. There's not a chance. So Joey Bosa was left unblocked. He was left unblocked on this, Nick Bosa. He was left unblocked on this play. Lombardi knows this. The Chargers know this. Look at the alignment, right? I'll even take it back here. Look at the alignment. This is what the Niners do Let me take it back a little bit here. The Niners came out in this all night long. They did not deviate. The Niners defense they don't deviate. You adjust to them, they don't adjust to you. They come out in this 4-3 every single time. Maybe every now and then they'll bring down a safety or something like that. They come out in this every single time. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, no nickels. These are all linebackers in here, all legitimate linebackers. Again, this group right here, all of them 4.6 and under, fast as shit. So when you run this play, this is the first jet sweep the Chargers have ran in several months. I want to say they know it's coming, so you leave him unblocked. They left Nick Bosa unblocked. So let's play this. Don't blame it on Foster Sarell. It's not Foster Sarell's fault because this play calls for him to be unblocked. This play calls for him to get downfield and attempt to make a block on 51, which he cannot do. He could not do this on his best day. There's no right tackle in the league that can come out and block 51. No way. No, it's not a blown assignment. Look at it. I'm playing it. It's not a blown assignment. He goes right past him. He goes past him and tries to get to him. I will play it again. It's not a blown assignment. He steps past him. He puts his hand out. He does the Olay to him because he's trying to get past him. Watch it again. He's doing the Olay. Trying to get to 51, cannot get there. If Bosa doesn't get it, 51 is going to decleat Carter. That is a bad play call. That's a bad play call. It's not a blown assignment. That's what the scheme calls for. That's what the play calls for. This is what happened. Again, let's play it again. Foster Sarell, Olay, Nick Bosa, right there, coming upfield, keeping his contain like he always does. That's the play call. Third, fourth string don't have nothing to do with it. Injuries don't have nothing to do with it. This is a stupid play call. And this put the Chargers in 2nd and 16 on a crucial drive that they had to score it. So injuries, again, no excuses. None. Injuries, nothing to do with this play call. Injuries don't have a goddamn thing to do with this play call. First and fourth string receivers don't have a goddamn thing to do with this play call. This play call is getting blown up with everybody healthy in there. This is getting getting blown up. If this is Keenan Allen, this is getting blown up. If Keenan Allen has the ball, this is getting blown up. If this is Jalen Guyton, this is getting blown up. Anybody you have, whoever else you want to have healthy, Mike Williams, this is getting blown up with the starters in there. This is football that you cannot win with. And this is what the coaching staff has foisted up on everybody. This is what they do. You can't win with this. You cannot win with this. I don't care who you have. This has nothing to do with injuries. If everybody's healthy, they are not getting anything on this. They are set behind the sticks. The offensive coaching staff came out and set them behind the sticks. And I said this on Twitter earlier. This play, you can literally, if the Chargers would have came out on this play on 1st and 10 and took a knee, this literally would have been a better play than this because you only would have lost 2 yards. They lost 6 yards on this. Now you're back inside your own 20. You're back inside your own 20 on this. There's no blown assignment here. Don't make excuses now. Cool Arrow. Don't make excuses. This is a Olay. This is not a blown assignment. This looks like a lineman that's trying to get to a block that he could not make. This is not a blown assignment. 73. Let's watch it again. He's here. Olay. Let me try to get there. No, and he doesn't get there. He doesn't block anybody on this. He doesn't block anybody. I'm focusing on one play. I'm focusing on one play because this is the drive that the Chargers needed to score on. The game was over after this. They did not score on anything else. This was their best opportunity that they had to score on. I'm focusing on one play because it was a play call that put the Chargers back 6 yards. Put them back 6 yards. Come on now. If our 3rd and 4th could win their battles, this play would never be called. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What does the 3rd and 4th string have to do with the play call? This play call is not going to win with anybody. This ain't going to win. That's not a winning play call. That's not going to win. It doesn't matter who you have on the field. That is a bad play call. Joe Lombardi put the Chargers in 2nd and 16 against the best defense in the NFL. How are you supposed to win with that? How are you supposed to win with that? This is crucial. This is crucial. These are situations that you have to be good in. These are situations. This is situational football. That play, like I said, if there was a pie that can determine how much that play impacted the game, it's probably 30, close to 40% as the reason why the Chargers lost that game. Because they're not in bad territory. They're at the 25, 1st and 10. 7 minutes left on the clock. You can run the ball. You don't have to rush. You can do anything you want to. As long as you pick up third downs, as long as you're in third and manageable, right, you still have a chance. You're not in third and manageable when you're at 2nd and 16 after a play like that. You're not. You're not. Again, injuries, nothing to do with that. Whoever is out on the field, nothing to do with that. There's no right tackle in the league that can make that block. Why would you have a guy who is making his very first start in the league? Why would you have that? And not to mention, he was going one-on-one with Nick Bosa for a lot of the second half. He was going up with Nick Bosa a lot in the second half, one-on-one. Why did that happen? This is play calling. This is play calling. This is coaching. This is what happens when you do not have people who know what they're doing. I'm just asking them to know what they're doing. We're not even asking them to be good at this point. Just be competent. You do not have a guy who's making his first career start going one-on-one against a Bosa brother. And we should know this because we got his brother on our fucking team. He does the same exact thing. He abuses linemen just the way we see it. We see him do this. We see him do this. This should not be a surprise. It shouldn't be a shock. We see him do this all the time. We see Joey do this all the time. Nick does the same exact thing. Why? How? You have advanced scouting on this. You know you have a guy. You have like a replica on your team who does the same. Why would you leave him out there? It doesn't make sense. This is all coaching. This is all coaching. All of it is coaching. It has to do with everything. We're obviously being outmatched. Agree to disagree, bro. I agree if we had a healthy squad and this was still happening. This still happens when we had a healthy squad. It still happens. These play calls still happen when we have a healthy squad. This is bad play calling. We're outnumbered. Yes, we're outmatched, but it doesn't matter. You cannot be outmatched. We're outmatched, but we lead the game with 7 minutes left. Now we're just outmatched in the last 7 minutes. How does that make sense? The Chargers were leading the game for 52 minutes, but we're just outmatched in the 7 minutes. This is situational play call. These are excuses from Charger fans. This is why the Chargers give you fans a shit sandwich and they tell you to eat it. And then a lot of you who are brainwashed thank them for the delicious meal. This is what it is. That is what it is. This is bad, bad, bad shit. Take accountability for this bad shit. There is no optimism or anything coming off of this. The Chargers lose next week to Kansas City, 5-5. You know what? Playoffs are gone. Playoffs are gone. And I tweeted about it this morning. The division is almost pretty much out of reach now, right? Kansas City, we're gonna have to depend on them to lose a game. The division is no longer in the Chargers' hands. They can't control their own destiny. Even if the Chargers win out, you still depend on the Chiefs to lose a game, right? You never want to be in a position where you're depending on another team to do some shit. You want to be able to take care of your business and be able to go where you want to go. Now the Chargers are in they're in the position where they depending on the Chiefs. So the division is out of reach now. The Chiefs are going to win the AFC West. So now with all of this optimism that everybody has, all these Charger fans, all you guys have this optimism from all of this whatever you thought was good play last night, right? All this optimism. I went over it earlier on Twitter, right? There's going to be 4 division winners, right? AFC West, AFC North, AFC South, and the other one. So there's going to be 4 division winners, right? The top 2 with the best records, right? They're going to be 1-2, right? So the Chargers are not going to be anywhere in the top 4 because they're not going to win the division, right? AFC East is going to have 2 playoff teams. The Giants, the AFC East will have at least two playoff teams, right? The Jets have a winning record. Obviously the Bills, and then you have the Dolphins. They have 3 teams with winning records. Then you look at AFC North, Baltimore they're probably going to win that division. Then you look at Cincinnati as well too. So now the best case scenario, the best case realistic scenario for this team right here is the 7th seed. And if the Chargers are the 7, and that's just assuming that they do whatever they need to do to secure that 7th seed. But if you get to that 7th seed, then that's going to get you a trip to either Arrowhead, right? Or it's going to get you a trip to Buffalo, where it's probably going to be snow and the weather's going to be shitty, and it's not going to be a drop back and throw it 50 times game, right? With this shitty running game that we have. That's what it's going to get. So all this optimism. So you have your optimism is Buffalo in January for a wild card game with the Chargers, who can't run the ball to save their lives. That's where all this optimism is from last night, because that's the realistic scenario here. The division is no longer here. The division is no longer here. Even if we beat the Chiefs next week, they still control their own destiny. They went out, they win the division. It has nothing to do with us. So there's nothing that we can do that can make them lose. They have to lose a game. We have to hope and pray that they lose a game. It's no longer in our hands. So this is what we're looking at here. And then all the other wild card teams all have better records than the Chargers. The Jets only have 3 Jets only have 3 losses. Dolphins only have 3 losses. So this is what we're looking at here. We're looking at being a 7 seed. This is where all of our optimism should go. After all of the moves and everything the Chargers did, come on, man. Come on. Get out of here with that. You can eat your shit sandwich over there. I'm not eating it. I'm not eating the shit sandwich. This team is not good. You can blame the third and fourth string, whatever you want to blame. This is not a good team. It hasn't been a good team. It's not a good team. It's not. It's not a good team. This is not a well-coached team. And the way that this is setting up a snowstorm in Buffalo in January for a playoff game. That's where your optimism is going. Good. Okay. Good luck with that. I wouldn't be betting on the Chargers if they were able to secure the 7th seed. I wouldn't be betting on the Chargers in Buffalo in January. I don't give a shit who's back. I don't care. Come on, man. There's no way that you're this narrow-minded. You are you can't be this narrow-minded. You can't be into all of this propaganda so much. What you're seeing on the field is not a good team. What you're seeing is not a good coach team. Yet you're still in all this propaganda. Be as optimistic as you want to. They suck. This is just not a good team. This team is overrated. This team should have been competing for the division, but they're not. They're not going to compete for the division. It's just not. It's just not. I come on, man. I can't. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? If you're happy with what you've seen last night, then be happy. That's fine. But you're not going to convince me of it. I've been a Charger fan for 20 years. I've seen this shit up and down. I've seen this shit up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I've seen it. I've been the fan saying, man, wait until we get healthy next year. We're going to be good. No, we're not. No, it's just not. Sometimes you got to boo your team. Yes, and you do. You have to boo your team, and you have to boo the front office. You have to boo the ownership. You have to boo the entire franchise. This entire franchise is not good. Come on, man. Come on. Why can't fans be realistic? Yeah, be crying like a baby. Yes, because they want you to go and just be all positive and all chipper and all of this stuff. And oh my God, the Chargers, they really did something yesterday. They played well for 52 minutes, and they really did something. And I'm so optimistic about it. Fuck that. Bullshit. I seen something earlier on Twitter. Since 2010, right? 12 years. How many times have the Chargers won more than 10 games since 2010? One time. And that was in 2018 when they went 12-4. Once. The Chargers have won more than 10 games once. And now you want me to be optimistic about playing well for 52 minutes against a San Francisco team that has underachieved. They're talented, but they underachieved. They got their asses kicked by the Falcons, a team that we just beat. Now you want me to be happy about that? Get the fuck out of here. You kidding? No, thank you. Yes, you pass on the shit sandwich as well, because that's what they're trying to give you. That's what they're trying to run interference. They're trying to run all this propaganda out. They want you to feel so good about this. Oh my God, they played so well. Oh, they played so well last night, whatever this and that. Why didn't they win the fucking game then? If they played so well, why didn't they win the fucking game? I don't want to hear it. If you show that you can play at a level like that, you should win a game. The expectation should be to win a game. It should not be to shit the bed the last 7 minutes. No, it should not be that. But some people are happy with that. You're fine with that. I'm not. And this channel is about that. I'm not coming on here kissing ass. I'm not coming on here being happy with all this stuff. No, I see other teams succeeding. I seen Tua Tagovailoa look like shit. Dolphins fans for the past 3 years. Dolphins fans. I got one of my good friends is a Dolphins fan, and he always hit me up about the Herbert trade. About the Dolphins drafting Tua over Herbert, and he's so sick about it and all this stuff. He hasn't said that this year. He hasn't. You know why he hasn't said that this year? They got a coach in there who is bringing the best out of Tua, and Tua is limited as a mug physically. This dude is small. He is tiny. He is 5'11". Like he can't be more than 200 pounds. Maybe 205 after lunch. He cannot be more than 200 pounds. His arm strength is not there. He is accurate. He's always been accurate. I will give him that. Mobility is not there either. He is small. He looks like a high school kid. He looks like a high school kid, even in his NFL uniform. I have seen high school quarterbacks that are way bigger than Tua. Way bigger than have looked more impressive than it looked the part more than Tua. Tua's an MVP candidate this year. Why is he an MVP candidate this year? Because they went and hired a coach. Dolphins, one of the worst run organizations, not just in the NFL, but in sports. The owner, Stephen Ross, involved in all kind of bullshit. He's the owner that gets sued the most. He's always getting sued. He's into nefarious bullshit everywhere, internationally, all kind of stuff. They are one of the worst run franchise in the NFL, right? Sports in general. They go out, they hire a coach. What does the coach do? The coach puts everything around Tua to succeed. They take big swings. They went out, they got Tyreek Hill. They drafted Jalen Waddle in the draft. They got their offensive line right in the draft a couple of years ago, too. Austin Jackson out of USC. They did what they needed to do to put everything around Tua that he needs. All that was missing was a coach. They brought the coach in. The coach, he's a little goofy dude, but he knows what the hell he's doing on offense. He got plays upon plays upon plays upon plays. And when you got those two fast guys right there, you are able to do anything that you want to. And you know what they did yesterday, too? They got the running game going. They ran the ball yesterday, too. So the Dolphins now going into week 10, not only do they have the two fast receivers out there, not only is Tua balling, they ran the ball. And they have been getting better running the ball every single week. They are starting to develop that run game as well, too. That's what the Dolphins did. That's what they went out and did for Tua. So please get out of here why I should be so happy that the Chargers played well for 52. Oh, my God. All the injuries. And I don't give a shit. I don't care. This organization is not committed to doing right by Justin Herbert. So we all should be happy that the Chargers can overachieve for 52 minutes. We should all just be happy and chipper and all of this stuff. Get out of here. We got Kansas City coming in at home next week. And whatever you want to say about Kansas City and all that stuff, they're playing well. And if you watched the game yesterday with Kansas City, what is Kansas City doing too? Kansas City is running the ball. Isaiah Pacheco, the 7th round draft pick, he took Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He took his spot. Their 1st round draft pick from a couple of years ago. They got a 7th round guy. He's wearing Tyreek Hill's number 10. He's running hard. Andy Reid, they're running power shit now. So Mahomes, not only is he getting more, integrated with his new receivers and stuff now, still got Travis Kelce. They're running power stuff. They're supported. Patrick Mahomes is supported. He doesn't have to go out. Now, obviously, he is great, ad-libbing and all of this stuff. That's when he's at his best. But they can line up and run power. Can the Chargers do that? No, hell no. No, absolutely not. They can't do that. So you look at all of these teams, you look at all of these great quarterbacks. What are they doing? They're getting supported. They're winning. They have coaches who bring out the best in them. The Chargers don't have that. You want us to eat a shit sandwich and be okay with 50 minutes of okay football against a team that is a talented team, but an underachieving team in the Niners. You want us to be okay with that? Get out of here. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, get off the chat. I don't give a shit. I'm not eating the shit sandwich. You can eat the shit sandwich. I'm not. I've been a Charger fan for 20 years. I've seen this bullshit. I've been here. I've been, oh man, it's just injuries. We'll be okay next year. It's just injuries. We'll be okay next year. Bullshit. What happened last year in 2021? We couldn't stop the run. What was everybody saying? Oh, Staley don't have his guys. Once Staley get his guys, we're going to be okay. Staley got his guys. Still not stopping the run. Now what? Now what for next year? Oh, man, once injuries happen. We've been here before. Aren't y'all tired of this shit? You cannot be. You cannot be. You cannot be this stupid. Stop slamming the clown. Stop slamming the desk clown. It's unbearable. I'm slamming the desk. What are you doing about it? Showcase. I'm slamming the goddamn desk. What are you doing about it? If you don't like it, get the fuck out the chat. I'm slamming the desk. Get out of here. You're not telling me what to do, dumbass. Bye. I'm slamming the desk. If you don't like it, get the fuck out the chat. I'm slamming the desk. You came here. I'm not watching you. You watching me. So you can leave. Okay? So that's there for that. The common denominator here is Telesco. Only one season with the 10-plus record. Doesn't react in that players when we have needs. We didn't get anyone at the trade deadline we needed to stay afloat. Tom has to go. He's got to go. He hasn't been good. He just hasn't been good. I'm sorry. He just hasn't been good. Let's see. Same story. Chargers get healthy. Same excuse every year. Exactly. And everybody keeps talking about, oh man, when we get healthy, this is the NFL. These are big, strong athletes who come out and hit the shit out of each other every Sunday. So to keep saying, oh man, when we get healthy, people are going to continue to get hurt. This is a physical game. This is a gladiator sport. I don't know why everybody is just banking on health. Like it's just everybody deals with injuries. Everybody deals with injuries. Everybody, every single team. Injuries are not exclusive to the Chargers. And now there's a lot of Charger fans who are acting like, oh man, we're just so injured. Everybody deals with injuries. So what? There's nobody, and I tweeted this out this morning. None of the other 31 teams give a shit about any of our injuries. They don't feel sorry for us. They're not saying prayers for us. They don't care. They're planning to beat us when we're on the schedule. We're food for them. They don't give a shit. They don't care. So you have to suck it up and not wallow around. Oh, it's just injuries. It's just injuries. Everybody gets injured in the NFL. Every team deals with injuries in the NFL. There is a 100% chance of injury in the NFL. That does not give you the license to come out and be shitty. You have to plan for it. There has to be contingency plans for it as far as the front office goes. And then coaching has to have contingency plans as well, too. You need to make things as simple as you can, but you still have to. You have to come out. You have to make plays. Offense has to move the ball. Defense has to get stops. And you have to be good situationally. Injuries does not excuse that. The Chargers were not good situationally when everybody was healthy. They're not good situationally now with injuries. This is a common thing. It's not exclusive to injuries. A lot of this shit has nothing to do with injuries. This is still a bad coach team. Situationally, they are not good. It's just what it is. They are not good. They're not a good team situationally. So, I don't know what to say, but injuries happen in the NFL. Injuries happen in the NFL. You will never, ever, ever see you'll never see a situation, you'll never see a season where injuries don't happen in the NFL. It sucks, but what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to just pack it in and go home? No, they still have a season to play. So what do you like? What is injury? Why do people keep talking about this? They still have a season to play, and you can feel good about it if you want to. But if you feel good about it, then go ahead. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Raiders are better. Raiders better at what? At losing? They're better than losing at us. But hey, it is. Slam it more. Hey, I'll slam the desk more. I don't know who you. Stop telling me stop slamming the desk. Boy, don't get the fuck out of here. Showcase. Now you laughing. Yeah, tell me not to slam. I'm gonna slam the desk. What the fuck? I pay the bills in this house, sir. I don't know who you think you're talking to. Let's see. it's a shame because let's say Allen Williams and both are healthy at the end of the year, only for us to miss the playoffs by one game because didn't get help during this tough schedule stretch. Right. And yes, they should have done something at the trade deadline. Um, there's also a lot of there's also a lot of guys being cut too. Like if you notice, a lot of guys being cut. The guys who they couldn't trade, teams couldn't trade. They all got cut last year, and there was quite a bit, quite a few dudes who were cut. I know with Dallas, I think they had their defensive tackle. I think he was like was he a first round pick, second round pick a couple years ago? Tristan Hill, I know he got cut. Um, he's not the best in the world, but he is a body, right? He's a body that the Chargers can use. He's a big dude. He's over 300 pounds, so he's somebody that the Chargers could use definitely. But Tom Telesco obviously did not do anything. They're not filling any they're not filling any needs that the Chargers have right now. So especially at defensive tackle right now, you have to make if Tom Telesco doesn't make a move at defensive tackle right now, you guys can chalk it up to I don't know. You can chalk up the optimism to whatever it is that you want to, but man, if they don't make a move here, this franchise is clearly not serious. Clearly, they have to make a move. Christian Covington is going to be out for the rest of the year. So is Otito. You lost two defensive linemen that are going to be out for the rest of the year. A move has to be made. You can't just go to the practice squad. You cannot just go to a move has to be made. And if they don't make a move, if Ndamukong Suh is not a Charger by the end of the week, if Tristan Hill is not a Charger by the end of the week, if I don't know whatever other bodies you want to talk about out there. They just need bodies at this point. It doesn't even matter if we like the guy. It doesn't matter if the guy didn't play well at his previous spot. They just need bodies. And if they don't get bodies, it's going to be a very, very, very tough road. They have to have bodies. Like it's getting to that point where you come and play. It's getting to that point. So the inactivity that the front office has shown has just been ridiculous. I don't know what Tom Telesco is thinking. I really don't know what he's thinking. Honestly, I don't care what he's thinking. He should go. He needs to go now. There's no reason why the Chargers should be this bad. There's no reason why this team, the depth on this team should be this bad. Justin Herbert is making $6 million this year as a starting quarterback. He's making $6 million. He's on a rookie deal. There's no reason why this should be, a disaster, with injuries. And I get it, the injuries happen, but this should not be a disaster. This should not be a disaster with Herbert making $6 million a year. Definitely not. Let's see. This year has been ruined, and now next year the Raiders and Broncos will only get better. Herbert's window is dying fast. Yes, especially once he gets paid. The money's going to dry up. Just like I said last night, J.C. Jackson, his money doubles next year. Mike Williams, his cap number goes up next year. Keenan Allen has a high cap number next year. They're going to have to make some decisions. And the money, the free agency money, all the money that they had, the cap space is not going to be there this year. So they're going to have to make some decisions when it comes to, getting these players or, just trying to get these guys under the salary cap. There's going to be some hard decisions, some tough decisions to make. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Let's see. I'm optimistic. Not giving up fans are crazy. I'm not. Yeah. Let's see. I like the energy. The way I think is if you're passionate, you can see the faults and acknowledges fans. Yeah, we didn't give up. We wouldn't be as mad as we are. Exactly. And that's what it is. I've been a Charger fan for 20 years. Like I have seen all of this stuff. So all of these people in like Twitter is a relatively new thing, right? I've been a Charger fan. I'm 32 years old right now. I've been a Charger fan since I was 12. I was a San Diego Charger fan, and Twitter is a relatively new thing. So I've seen a lot of stuff happening with this team right over the past 20 years. Seen a lot of disappointments. Twitter being new is something that is I think it's really like clouded the judgment of a lot of fans because now there's just this segment of we have to be positive. Anytime that they go out and they get their asses whooped by the Jacksonville Jaguars, we have to be positive. We must be positive. And then there's a segment of fans like, well, man, the Jacksonville Jaguars are a good team. We shouldn't be be too down about getting our asses handed to us by the Jaguars. They're a good team. I even seen somebody say when we got blown out by the Jaguars on week 3. I seen somebody say that Doug Peterson was a top 5 coach in the league. That's how much they try to spin it. They don't want to take accountability. They don't want to say, oh man, our team, maybe they're not as good as they should be. They said that Doug Peterson was a top 5 coach in the league. Instead of looking at what we do, instead of looking at the bad play calling, the bad defense, all of that stuff, instead of looking at that, they said, man, Doug Peterson, top 5 coach in the league. The Jaguars are 3-7 now. That's a 3-7 team. Like, that's how far some Charger fans will go to spin it. And it's like, damn, is this a mental health thing? Is this it's for sure cognitive dissonance. For sure, at minimum cognitive dissonance. But there is a route that people go, they will just try to spin everything so positively. Even when the Chargers get their asses whooped, it's so positive. They spin it so positive. They're doing the same thing after the Seattle loss. Just spinning everything, just so like what are you seeing? What are you seeing? How are you thinking that allows you to do this? You're clearly not living in the real world. Everything does not have a positive spin on it, especially when it comes to the NFL, watching football. This is not everything. It doesn't have a positive spin on it. That's for the announcers to do on Sunday. Us as fans, we spend money on the product. We go to the games, we buy the merchandise and all of that stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and put a positive spin on everything. If I see some shitty play, I'm going to say, yeah, that's some shitty play. If I see shitty play calling, that's shitty play calling. I'm not putting a positive spin on everything. That is not what I do. I'm never going to, I don't even do that in my real life. Like if I am at my job and I fuck up or something, damn, I just fucked up. I'm not going to, it was Wednesday and I was a little constipated and I didn't have coffee. So, that's a reason why and blah, blah, blah. And I had a meeting, No, you just fucked up. Be better. That's it. That's all these fans should be saying. Just be better. That's it. You don't have to put a positive spin on everything. That's not how life works. This is why, and I'm gonna get on my soapbox a little bit here, but this is why I think a lot of people deal with depression and all of this type of stuff. Stop putting positive spins on stuff. Take accountability for what you do, right? And obviously we're not accountable for what the Chargers do on the field, but as a fan, I'm accountable for how I see what I see. If I see shitty stuff, I'm gonna call it out. If I see good stuff, I'm gonna come on here, praise it, right? Pat on the back, clap it up, right? We'll everything and everything else in between. I can call it out. I can be nuanced, all of that stuff. But I don't operate that way in my life, where I had to put a positive spin on everything. Sometimes I fuck up. Sometimes life fucks me up. Sometimes it's just what it is. Like everything is not this big positive circle or this big group circle jerk that is life. That is not what it is. So I look at things from a very realistic perspective, from everything, from the way that I parent, from how I'm a husband, to everything in my life. I look at it from a realistic perspective. And if I make a mistake, I can call out that I make a mistake. I just need to be better. No excuses, no nothing here. I just need to be better. But this is a weird thing that Charger fans do online. And ever since I started this channel, and ever since I got online and Instagram and Twitter, I'm seeing this, and this shit is weird. It's fucking weird. It's weird, and it's weirdo shit, and it's weirdo behavior. To put you see something bad and to go all the way around, up and down, and all of this, and do all of this stuff to put a positive spin on it, it's fucking stupid, and it's dumb. And I call it out. And people come on here and they get incensed at me that I don't do it. No, that you can live in your fantasy world. I know, not me. Like people will get mad at me that I say the Chargers are not going to win the Super Bowl this year. That is a true statement, right? They're not going to win no Super Bowl this year. We know this. Anybody who lives in real world, they will not be in the Super Bowl this year. But if I go and take that to Twitter, there's going to be a bunch of fans who are like, why are you being so negative? Why are you being so negative? You need to be positive. Back in 1955 and blah, 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 and all that. They'll bring up all of this bullshit to justify their irrational thoughts that they have in their own mind. And then they get mad at me that I don't have these same irrational thoughts. I don't behave that way. Like I don't, you can't be in your own, and I don't know, maybe it's because I was in the military or something like that. You can't be in your own bubble in places like that. Like you will get your ass chewed out, handedly if you're in your own bubble. Like you have to operate in reality. And that's how I've always been. That's how I operate in real life. So this shit is very, very weird and super, super off-putting to me. So when people come in here and they're asking all, like they're getting mad at me for not seeing all of this positive and optimistic stuff. Like I don't deal with that. Like I can't do that. I can't do that. I look at things for what they are. I look at real life for what it is. I look at what I'm seeing on the football field from the Chargers. If I'm not seeing good shit, I'm not seeing good shit. There's no way you can put a positive spin on it. The play that I showed you guys, it shows everything that you need to know, right? So it's not everything can't be positive. I'm sorry, that's not how life works. If everything was positive, I would have $1 million. I would have $1 billion actually, if everything was so positive. But it's not. It's just not. And you're setting yourself up for more disappointment when you want to put a positive spin on everything. Because sometimes shit is just fucked up. Sometimes life is just fucked up, and there's no way you can put a positive spin on anything that you do. So sometimes you just gotta, take things at face value, move on, be better, do what you have to do, and just move on to the next thing, or get yourself, recalibrated in any way you can, and just try to be better. That's really it. But this shit is weird. It's very, very weird to me. Let's see. Love your channel. Thank you for being real about the Chargers. Been a Charger fan for 15 years, and they're always disappointed. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I like conversing with everybody on this channel who is looking at this from a realistic perspective. If you're looking at it from a realistic standpoint, I like it. And I like having these conversations because that's all we can do is be real. Nothing that we say is going to make anything any different. We're not, we can't speak things over people's lives like that. We're not, I can't even think of the name, but we can't do that. Like, it's just not how real life works. If that was the way real life worked, then everybody would have everything that they ever wanted and everything that they ever dreamed of. But it just doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't happen that way. So I'm sorry, man. Any DT suggesting that we're down 2 more guys? Yeah, definitely Sue. Definitely Sue. Maybe Tristan Hill from the Cowboys. But at this point, it's so late in the season. Like I said, we need bodies. We just need bodies. We got to get guys in there to fill the position. So yeah, who do you think? DT? Yeah, definitely. I think Dominican Sue should be the first one. Definitely the first one. They need Sue, yeah, for sure. Let's see. I got into arguing with the Charger journalist on Twitter. They had said that Staley would be coach of the year if we won the next 2 games. What? If we won? Huh? I called him out. And he just basically called me. What? Coach of the year if the Chargers won the next 2 games? What? What the heck? No. What? See, and that's what I'm talking about. These people have cognitive dissonance, and they have crazy pie in the sky ideas. And if you don't have these same ideas, how dare you? They're gonna come at you and they're gonna try to shame you and all of that stuff. I can't be shamed. So I get on here and I talk shit. And I have thick skin, and I'm not an internet sissy. People talk shit in the comments all the time. I rarely block anybody. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Like, it's whatever. Like, I've been shot at and stuff before. So it's not these internet comments and on stuff. They don't do anything to me. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. Like, once you reach a certain level in life, like, you don't care. Especially as a black man too. Like, I'm 32 years old. I got callous after callous after callous after callous. Like, none of this shit matters. Like, I don't know. It doesn't. None of that bothers me. But I'm not gonna be bullied into thinking in a certain way that somebody else thinks. You can kiss my black ass with that shit. Like, saying Brandon Staley would be coach of the year, whatever journalist that is dumbass. Like, damn, that is stupid. Stupid. Let's see. I think they will bring back Linval Joseph because he already knows this. Yeah, I think he's still out there too. Yeah, he's definitely still out there. Yeah, he might be the first one they call, actually. Maybe him and Ndamukong Suh. I forgot about him, and he hasn't retired yet either. So yeah, I think that would be a very good pickup for the Chargers. At some point, nobody will want to play with us. Well, maybe, I don't know. They still have a winning record, so I don't think it would be that bad. But I don't know. It's especially if a guy is just trying to get back into the league and just trying to get paid a few more times. I don't think it's gonna matter. I don't think the dude will care if they win or lose. It's just he just want to get back into the league and play somehow. So I don't think it matters. The Raiders just keep taking Charger players. They got Jerry Tiller. I heard that, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. I knew that they would though, but I mean, he's going to be out the league pretty soon. So let's say that they let's say that they took on one of our problems. Well, Staley keeps saying that the team is okay with the guys they have. Yeah, not a very good head coach. Yeah, we're okay with the guys that we have, and I love the way that we competed. He says that every press conference, whether they do anything good or not. I love the way we competed. Let's see. I would trade JC. The scheme doesn't work with him. Yeah, I would explore that in the offseason. Definitely. Gotta if the Chargers can find a way to offload that contract, I would definitely look into that. Because you can draft another cornerback. You can draft a second, third rounder, or whatever. Somebody who can fit into the system more, and also take that money down a little bit too. So I would look into that definitely. Um, let's see, I blame more Lombardi and the players if anything. I think Lombardi already knows. He knows it's going to be his last hurrah. So it's we'll see what happens. Our schedule on the stretch really isn't as hard as it seems. I think we can pull off 10 wins. Hopefully, I hope they can, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There is no such thing as an easy win in the NFL, especially this season. So I'm not, putting anything, not getting ahead of myself, but no such thing as an easy win. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The schedule is not daunting. There's not a lot of playoff teams on the schedule as of right now. So, but again, no such thing as really easy wins. So the press conference really pissed me off as well as a clear disconnect between coaches and players. Yep, exactly. So remaining games: KC, Arizona, Las Vegas, Miami, Tennessee, Indiana, Rams, and Denver. Can't we win 5 of these? Oof. I mean, yes and no. I don't know. We'll see. We got Kansas City coming up. Arizona Arizona's not a good team, but they can score though. That's the thing. And they scored they scored 34 points yesterday with their backup quarterback. So they can score. I don't think that would be if the Chargers beat the Cardinals, I don't think it would be an easy win. Um, the Raiders are a mess. I think we can beat the Raiders, obviously. Miami, that's gonna be a tough game. Miami's gonna be a tough Miami and Tennessee, back to back tough games. Back to back tough games. Because Miami can put up points. They can put up points and they can rush the passer. And then Tennessee, obviously, they can run the ball. They don't present much of a threat in the pass game, but they can run the ball, and that's obviously the Chargers can't stop the run. So the Rams, by that point, the Rams I think are going to be checked out. Denver's going to be checked out as well too, but it's also very hard playing at their stadium over there. At elevation, they beat us there the past 4 times, 3, 4. I want to say 3 or 4 times, right? 4 times, I don't know, but even with bad teams, they beat us. So I don't know. I don't think that's going to be an easy game either. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Definitely, positivity doesn't win games. Just like Staley saying, we play with heart. Sorry, Staley, with heart doesn't win. Exactly. There's no heart column. It's wins and losses. 10-7 might not make it in the AFC because so many teams are in play for those last 3 spots, especially AFC East. Exactly. So if the Jets keep winning, they're definitely going to be in play. Jets and Dolphins are going to be in play. Dolphins are going to continue winning. Dolphins are going to make it. The Jets are going to make it hard too. The Bengals as well too. The Bengals are going to. I think Baltimore is going to win that division, but the Bengals are going to be competing for a wild card spot as well too. So you're going to have teams that are going to make it very hard. These teams are going to continue to win as well too. I think right now the Bengals have 4 losses too. So we're on the outside looking in. Playoffs started today. We are not in it. So I don't know where all the optimism comes from. Chargers have to win. They have to. There's no moral victories. There's only wins now. Only wins. There's no more moral victories. Wins. And if they lose to Kansas City, if the Chargers lose to Kansas City, the playoffs are going to be out of the question, I think, because you're going to have 5 losses. You look at Miami as a wild card team. right? I still think Buffalo's going to win the division, but Miami will be a wild card team with 3 losses. You're going to have a wild card team with 3 losses. The Jets, 3 losses. Both of them 3 losses. So they both have wiggle room. And you have the Chargers all the way down at 5-5 if they lose to Kansas City. Playoffs are looking bleak at that point because now not only is division out of the question, but now you are 2 games behind in the wild card. You need both Miami and the Jets to both lose both games, and you also need the Bengals to keep losing as well. It looks very things are not going to be. It's just if they lose, if the Chargers lose on Sunday, it might be the season. It just might be the season. This cannot they cannot lose this game. They cannot afford to lose this game. They absolutely cannot afford to lose this game. I don't know why. Again, I don't know where all the optimism is coming from, man. Don't know where all the optimism is coming from. The season is on the line on Sunday because you have wild card teams with 3 losses right now, and that are playing very well. Um, I don't know. I don't know where the optimism is coming from all these Charger fans. It doesn't like. I don't know. Don't know, man. Don't know. Good afternoon. Just got home from work. What happened last night with the Chargers? Um, they just got beat. They played well enough to win the game. They played well enough for 52 minutes. They led the ball game for 52 minutes, and then they shit the bed the last 7 minutes. So that's pretty much what happened. Keep doing what you're doing a great job. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it. So I just want to come on here and be real from a fan perspective. I'm not a Twitter person. I'm not a Twitter snowflake. I don't do the virtue signaling and all that stupid shit. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't, let's get a positivity train going. I don't do any of that shit. Like I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular guy that lives a regular life, but I live life in a realistic point of view. I'm never pie in the sky. I'm never the guy who is, just, we need so much positivity. Just send me some positivity, right? No, I believe that, a lot of times you create your own positivity. So, if you create your own positivity as a person, a team can create its own positivity, right? Play calling, coaching, all that type of stuff, roster construction, all of that stuff. You can create your own situations, and the Chargers have not created their own situation. They've got a lot of talent on this team, but they really don't have nothing else to go with it. They just got a lot of talent, and it's being untapped right now. It's just untapped potential. So, I mean, we are where we are, and I'm not surprised. So, what should we do moving forward? I mean, there's not much we can do if we don't win this game on Sunday. Then it's pretty much game over. So, loser mentality happens to humans when you're a Charger fan for over 5 years. No, it's not a loser mentality. It's realistic. You just know that this team is going to. You're going to still be a fan, but you know that this team is going to come out and upset you. They're not going to do what they're supposed to do, and calling it out doesn't have. It's not a loser mentality calling it out. It's they're the ones losing. I'm not losing. My life is fine. I'm happy and shit. But the football team I root for ain't shit. But my life is happy. I don't have a loser mentality. They do. The franchise has a loser mentality, not me. So you have had to read a paragraph to explain to me how the loss was a good loss. Odds are it's not. Yeah, exactly. They're doing spin. And they're not going to talk about how if the Chargers lose this game on Sunday, it's probably the season. And yes, they're not going to be mathematically out of it. Anything crazy can happen. All this pie in the sky shit, but more than likely, they probably will not make the playoffs unless some shit happens. Unless all of the wild card team quarterbacks get hurt or something happens like dramatic. It's just not. The likelihood is just not. This game means everything. This is the season on Sunday, and a lot of people are not going to talk about this, but it is what it is. I'm just like you. I call it when I see it. Yeah. IG, the team isn't pushing in a positive direction. Or if the team is pushing about, then why would I be positive about my team? Exactly. It's just pie in the sky stuff. People want to feel good about themselves. Nobody wants to hear the truth no more. Everybody just wants to feel good. You can't tell fat people that they're fat anymore. You can't, say a lot of stuff to people. Everybody wants to feel good about themselves. Everybody wants to be in a perpetual state of euphoria. And that's why depression is so bad. Because everybody wants to have this all-time high. They want to walk around 24/7 with an all-time high. And when reality smacks them in the face, then it's mental health issues, right? And I'm not making fun of it. I'm not making light of it or anything like that either. But there is this issue in society where there's always a remain positive. Always remain positive. Life isn't always positive. So if life isn't always positive, why would I always remain positive? Why can't I be pessimistic? Why can't I call out my shit? Why can't I call out other people's shit? Why can't I call out the Charger shit? It is what it is. This is what life is. Like you just can't be you can't be a this person walking around who thinks that they're just gonna be positive all the time and all of these positive thoughts is just gonna be that's all you need is positive thoughts to make things happen and all of this stuff. No, man, it's just not. It's not gonna happen. It's just it doesn't happen. And it is what it is. It's life. You got to deal with it, right? You got to deal with it. It's like they say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But I mean, it is what it is. Everything ain't positive. Everything's not positive. Everything won't be positive. That's not how life works. If it was, everybody would be millionaires. Everybody would have nice houses and cars and all this shit and everything they ever wanted. But it's not. It's just not. Sometimes life sucks and you got to deal with it. Let's see. Yeah, it was hilarious to me. All I said was Sirianni deserves it more in 2 games on the race the whole season. He just didn't really respond. Staley, coach of the year, super delusional. It was Dan W Sports. I've seen him on Twitter. That guy is crazy. That dude is crazy. He's nuts. That dude is nuts. He says stupid shit on there all the time. I can't even remember. He that guy he's crazy pie in the sky. Crazy pie in the sky Charger fan. Nothing negative ever. Nothing ever. Nothing negative. Nothing at all. Everything's good. Everything happens for a reason and all of this. Yeah, that guy's crazy. He's nuts. Staley coach of the Staley coach of the year. Like they would give why would they give the coach of the year to a bottom 5 defense? That has never happened before. That would never happen. That guy's nuts. Not just delusion. Delusion. Again, cognitive dissonance is what I call it. Is cognitive dissonance. Congratulations to the Bayer. I remember a few weeks ago he was telling was getting ready for it. Yeah, she's here now. Yeah, she's here. She was born on October 26th. So yeah, we got her now. The sleep is limited, but beautiful time. Beautiful time. Glad to be home and have a chance to take care of her. Thank you though. Thank you so much. Let's see. Will Keenan ever come back this year? I know. That's what I was thinking too. Like, damn. And he got ruled out. He got ruled out pretty early for the Niner game, so I don't expect him to play against the Chiefs either. Let's see. Our big game will be KC, Tennessee, and Dolphins. If we lose against Kansas City, unless the Chargers win out, I don't think we have a legitimate shot at the playoffs, honestly. Because again, at that point, you're relying on teams to lose, and when you get into that point, then I think you already kind of lost. When you get to a point where you're relying on other teams to lose to get you in the playoffs, you've already lost. You've already lost, and you've already, especially for this team, you've already underachieved at that point. So I don't know. The thing is that the state is Staley staff. So in my eyes, he goes down to ship nowhere around it. 100%. 100%. Let's see. Gotta get caught up. Imagine if we got Tyreek Hill instead of J.C. Jackson. They wouldn't have traded him to us though. Don't count out the Patriots. Yes, Patriots too. Patriots. I forgot about the Patriots. They are 5-4 as well too. So there's another team. There's another team we got to worry about. There's another team we have to hope loses because we don't play them this year. We don't have a head-to-head. So again, imagine if we got Tyreek instead of J.C. Jackson. They wouldn't have traded him in the division. No way. Not to Herbert. Let's see. Man, this guy is all storm and gloomy, isn't he? Well, aren't you all rainbows and lollipops, right? And rainbows and lollipops and shiny toys and petting puppies and all of that stuff. You go ahead with your delusion, Cool Arrow. You're watching me. I'm not watching you. You can go ahead with your delusion. The fact of the matter remains, the Chargers lose this game on Sunday against the Chiefs. They probably will not make the playoffs. They likely will not make the playoffs. They're going to have to fight 4 other teams for 1 spot. So there's no margin of error there. So you can go ahead with your delusion. This is realistic, buddy, whether or not you want to accept it. This is real life. This is real life. You can be as optimistic as you want to be. The Chargers lose to the Chiefs on Sunday. It's probably over. The season's probably over. Okay? Don't get mad at me. This is what's going on in real life. You can be as positive as you want to, but real life doesn't give a shit about your positivity. So you can go somewhere else. You can go somewhere else that is going to be more positive. You can go to Daniel Popper's Instagram. You can go to his Twitter. You can go somewhere else that is going to lie to you and tell you all this bullshit. But go ahead. You can go ahead. You can go right ahead. Go right ahead, man. Go right ahead. We ain't winning this game versus the Chiefs, but it's the NFL, so any given Sunday. I didn't say that we were going to win or lose. I said if we lose, the season will probably be over. Once you're in a position where you need other teams to lose, your season is pretty much already over because whatever shit that you need to happen mathematically almost never happens. So we lose this game, we're going to be 2 games behind the wild card holders. 2 games behind the wild card holders. So if the wild card holders win out, we all don't get to the playoffs. Us, the Patriots, Bengals, whoever else is with us, we all don't get to the playoffs. That is a high threshold. That is a high threshold. And it's the Chargers can't make any more mistakes. They can't lose any more games. It's just the way that it goes. You want to live in this fantasy world. If you want to kiss ass and all of that stuff, you want to kiss Staley's ass and you want to be positive and you want to, have a party, whatever, and you want to celebrate the great 52 minutes of football last night, you go right ahead, sir. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel, but you can go ahead and put your thoughts and your feelings out there. We're in reality here. All that shit has went out the window now. All of the positive and all of that stuff, all of it. You come on, it's went out the window. All of it's went out the window. So come on. You can't tell a man you can't be a woman. Yeah, exactly. The optimistic people didn't experience Marlon McCree or Nate Katie. Exactly. That fumble, yep, they don't know anything about that. Cool arrow, yeah. I thought the Charger D was 20th in the league. They're 26 at stopping the run. They're 26 at stopping the run. A coach of the year, a defensive coach will never win coach of the year with the defense that bad. So, I mean, yes, they might be 20th now, but rankings change depending on how many yards you get put up against. The Niners didn't put up a whole lot of yards against the Chargers yesterday, but they're still bad at stopping the run. And as far as total defense, they're still in the bottom half of the league. There's only 32 teams, 20th. You're still not even halfway. So you're still in the bottom part of defense in the league. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We got to treat every big game like it's a big game. They do. Larry, all right, man. I'll see you later. Just another salty Sabdiagan. What does that mean, man? Go eat the person. Go eat the person in your fridge. And this shit sandwich. The guys talking mess are still watching though. Yeah, this is just what happens. The Chargers are stinking up the field. Yeah. Yep. Stinking up the chat too. Yeah. No, I'm about to get this guy out here. Let me catch up. If he's still out here, then let's see. Yeah, no, I think he got up out of here. Cool arrow. He can go be positive somewhere else. Get all that shit out of here, man. Get all that out of here. This ain't positive. This ain't positive because the season hinges on this game, on Sunday. This ain't about positivity and all of this stuff. It's not about optimistic. This is about winning and losing. This is results oriented. And this is so many people in today's society don't give a shit about results. They want to be happy and all of this stuff. No, this is results oriented. NFL win or loss league. They lose this week to the Chiefs. The season is almost done. It's almost finished. It's going to be cooked. It's going to be cooked because you're going to be 2 games behind the wild card holders. 2 games behind the wild card holders with 4 other teams trying to get in as well too. So the margin of error is going to be extremely, extremely thin, almost not there. So it's going to be up to the Chargers because, again, the division, you lose to the Chiefs, division is gone. You're not going to win the division, and then the wild card shit is going to be out. As of right now, the Chargers are on the outside looking in. And if they lose again next week, they're still going to be on the outside looking in. And they're really going to have to run the tables, and they're going to need help from other teams to get into the playoffs, to get into the 7th seed. This is how bad it has been. So I don't know why I don't know where the optimism is coming from. Are people going to realize that once if the Chargers lose to the Chiefs? I don't know. I don't know. If it happens, then they're gonna have to face the reality. Ain't gonna be no more optimism there. But this is it's nut cutting time now. This is not there ain't no more runway. There ain't no more, experimenting time. There's not it's not that anymore. You gotta win now. It's time to win. The excuses aside, it's time to win. Injuries, all of that stuff. If you don't win, you're not going. That's just what it is. It's time to win. It's time to win and time to get results. W's and L's at this point right now are the only things that matter. Feelings, positivity, tweets, positive tweets, and all that shit don't matter. None of it matters. Wins and losses matter. And if an L goes in the L column on Sunday, it's going to be hard for the Chargers to make the playoffs this year. And that is the reality, whether you want to deal with it or not. Let's see, when are we going to get some freaking free agents? I don't know if we are, man. I really don't know. I don't even know if we are. Oh, let's see. Step of Faith Ministries. My bad, man. Facts. Staley spent the house on players that fit his scheme. If you pay Herbert, who will you throw it to that can stretch the field? Nobody. Play calling sucks. Too many screens while we're running the reverse tending both aside with a practice squad tackle. Again, I showed it. I showed it twice earlier on this live stream right now. I have no idea why. Okay, I'm going to do that one. Bro, Patriots have a gauntlet of a schedule. If we lose to the Chiefs, it's not over. No, the Patriots are going to be there trying to compete for the 7th spot because they're not going to win the division, obviously. They got Miami in front of them, and I think Buffalo is going to win. But the Patriots, yes, they might have a gauntlet of a schedule, but we still have to deal with the Bengals. The Bengals are not going to win their division. I don't think they're going to win the division. They're going to be trying to vie for that wild card spot. Miami already has a wild card spot right now. They're already going to have a wild card spot because they lost to the Bills and they're tied with the Bills. The Jets also have a wild card spot right now too. All of these teams have better records than the Chargers. So, I mean, everybody except for the Bengals. So, both of these teams, both wild card teams right now, are at 3 losses. The Chargers are at 4 losses. If we lose to Kansas City, we go to 5 losses, right? And assuming that both of the wildcard teams win their matchups, we would be 2 games behind. We would be 2 games behind a wildcard team. So it would take a lot for us to make the playoffs. 2 games behind wildcard teams that are in the same division too, that are pretty good, right? So one of them will end up having, a worse record than the other if they do make the team, the wild card, right, at the end of the season, right? We would assume that because they're all in the same division, but you're still going to be 2 games behind. So now you're going to need help, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the season is over, but for me, when you get to a point where you need help to get to the playoffs with the team this talented that the Chargers have, and all of the stuff, and all of the hoopla and all the hype that we had coming into the season, that's already a lost cause for me. Because most of the time when you need help to get in, the help doesn't come. So that's all I'm saying. If you're in that position where you do not control your own destiny, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to get into the playoffs. So I don't think that it's over for the Chargers, but I'm saying it's going to be hard. The margin for error going forward is almost nothing. It's razor thin. That's the position that the Chargers have put themselves in. If they lose this game to Kansas City, they're not going to be able to really afford any more losses because they're just going to continue to fall behind the leaders who hold the wild card right now. The NFL, they already posted it. If you go to their Instagram or Twitter, they already posted the playoff matchups right now. What the playoff matchups would be right now if the season ended today. The Chargers are not in it, guys. I'm not saying this. I'm not just talking shit. This is what this is there. This is facts. So if the Chargers lose and they continue to lose, they're not going to get up into the playoff mix by losing, obviously. What I'm saying is facts. I'm not making this up. I'm not pulling this out of my ass. This is what is going on. This is what's happening. This is not. That's why I'm saying I don't understand all of the positivity and optimism and all of this stuff. This is not going to happen if they continue to lose. They have no more room for error. They have no more room for moral victories. They have no more room for if you play the Chiefs well and you lose on a last second field goal or you give up a last second touchdown. Oh, we played well for 55 minutes. No, that's not going to make the playoffs. So I mean, whatever you can be happy with the 55 minutes or whatever, and just like a lot of fans were yesterday. But that doesn't make the playoffs. It's not going to make the playoffs. And as of right now, the Chargers are on the outside looking in. So the only way that they can get back in is by winning. There's some people in the chats who think I'm just talking shit. Maybe I'm not just talking shit. This is what's going on. Go to the NFL. Go to their social media. They have playoff scenarios posted, both NFC and AFC. We are not in it. We're not in it. That's the position that we're in. So again, if you're optimistic about this and you don't know, or I'm just imparting news on you, that's why I'm saying this optimism doesn't make sense, because we're at a point where now we're at a must-win game pretty much against Kansas City, right? This is our toughest divisional rival. We're at a must-win game. This is not a really advantageous spot for the Chargers with all of the injuries, with the way that they're playing, the way that they're calling offense. This is not a great spot to be in. It really is not. Now, is the game winnable? Yes, it's 100% winnable. It's the NFL. Anything can happen. But this is not a great spot to be in. And this is not a spot to be in where you control your own destiny. That is the best spot to be in, when you control your own destiny. When you're in a position where all you have to do is keep winning, you keep winning, you keep winning, and now you're in the playoffs. That is the best position to be in. But with this loss, if they do go out and lose to the Chiefs on Sunday night, the Chargers are not going to be in that position. They're going to need help, even if they continue winning. So I am just being the bearer of news. Maybe some of you guys didn't realize this. Maybe you guys don't understand this. And I would not be surprised if a lot of people didn't understand this, because you're so wrapped up in your positivity bubble, you don't realize these motherfuckers are going to miss the playoffs if they keep doing this. So, hey, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I'm just the bearer of the news. Don't get mad at me. That's all I'm saying. Let's see, Herbert has all the physical talents, but now I realize how good Rivers was at making this squad wide receivers look good. As your Tutu Eman, today's NFL young quarterbacks are more reliant on wide receiver talent. True. Yeah. Inman, Ajira Tutu. Yeah, I remember he had that really good stretch. There's a couple other guys too that were Denario, Alexander, there was a few other guys too. Kelly Washington, there were some practice squad guys that Rivers did. He elevated a lot of those guys. That's why I think he does have a Hall of Fame case. But yes, the wide receiver talent is, and I think a lot of it is the way that games get called too. The way that games get called is so much pressure on the younger quarterback. So when there's more pressure on them, you obviously need more receiver talent. The pressure wasn't always on Phillip Rivers though, because even with injuries like that, right? You had Antonio Gates there. Obviously you had LT, but even like Ryan Matthews, like he was okay, right? He was an okay running back for a few years for the Chargers. Mike Tolbert, I mean, he had to have guys. You have to have your guys. You have to have your star wide receivers, right? You need those guys you can rely on. So I definitely agree with that there. The Bengals have a hard schedule as well too. Yes, they do, but again, you don't want to be in a position where you're counting on people to lose, and the Chargers are getting close to that. They're getting close to that. The other teams' schedules should never come into play. If you're a team that wants to make the playoffs, make a playoff run, and you want to do all this stuff that the Chargers had planned to do, other teams' schedules should never even come into play. The only schedule that should matter is the people on your schedule, the teams that you have to face on your schedule. If you are worried about other team schedules, and that means you're not in a good position, and that's where we're close. We're close to there. So. Chargers missed the playoffs. Sean Payton should hire him to give motivational speeches to the players that don't make the team next year. Oh, you're talking about Brandon Staley, huh? We're not making the playoffs. I've seen enough. This is last year again, Groundhog Day. Yeah, it's getting close. It's getting close. That's why all this optimism doesn't make any sense for me. Um, Sean Payton should hire Staley next year to get more. um, I ain't seen a team that didn't control their own destiny make a real playoff run since New York Giants. Right, and that's what I'm saying. That's the scary part about it because you have to control like all the teams who do stuff, make noise in the playoffs. They always control their own destiny. They win, they win, and they're in. They don't have to worry about anybody else. They don't have to worry about any schedules. They don't have to worry about anybody head to heads or any of that stuff. They go out there and they do what they do. So it's the Chargers are getting close to that area. So it's scary time. Scary time, man. It's not a good time. Really not. Think how much fun they would be if they had the right people in office. Right. It would be fun. It would, but it's I don't know. I don't know where we're at here. Chiefs, Cardinals, Raiders, Dolphins, Titans, Colts, Rams, Broncos. Show me 5 wins. I can't show you. I can't. That's what I'm saying. They're all going to be tough. Chiefs are going to be tough. They can score. Cardinals can score. The Raiders, I think they're a dumpster fire, especially in 3 weeks from now. I think they're going to be checked out. I think they already are, but Dolphins, tough, right? Tough. And then even Dolphins right here, I didn't even think about this. So if the Chargers do lose to the Chiefs, right? They are 5-5. They beat the Cardinals, go to 6-5. Beat the Raiders, go to 7-5. Right? Dolphins hold that wild card spot. They're going to hold that number 1 wild card spot. So if the Dolphins beat us, they're going to take us down a notch. They're still going to hold on to that wild card spot, or maybe I don't know. Depending on if Buffalo, if they blow it, then maybe the Dolphins will go up there. Maybe the Bills will end up being a wild card, but somebody from that AFC East is going to be a wild card. So if that head-to-head to the Dolphins is a huge game too, then you got the Titans right afterwards too. Those are 2 huge games. So this is going to this. I'm telling you guys, man, this is not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy, and I can't show you 5 wins definitively the way the Chargers are playing. I can't. I cannot. I absolutely cannot. Chiefs will win by at least 10 points. I don't know, maybe. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't want to predict anything. I didn't predict against the Niners, so we'll see what happens. Realistically, we're fighting for the 7th spot, which is between us, Bengals, and Patriots. We're all 5-4, and they all have a much harder schedule than us. No, we're not. It's not just us. No, we're fighting against the Jets too. The Jets continue winning. Again, if the Jets only have a loss, 1 loss, even 1 or 2 losses, right? Just against in conference, they're still going to be there too. The Dolphins have this wild card spot right now. The Dolphins and Jets hold these wild card spots right now. So again, I don't know. I don't know what the Jets look like, but I am not gonna get into the point where I'm looking at other people's schedules, right? The Bengals, they were the wild card last year. They did it before. So I don't know what their schedule looks like. I don't care. I don't care. But again, we're in the territory where we're looking for other teams to lose. Not good. It's just not good. And that puts us in a position where we can't lose. So if we lose, then all of these other team schedules don't matter either. So again, realistically, it's the 7th spot. But Bengals, Patriots, we also Dolphins, and the Jets as well too. So we don't know, man. We don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and then we have to win. The Chargers have to win. Ain't no more moral victories. They have to win. They're in a position where they have to win now. So let's see. It was a good game, no doubt. The fact Chargers injured, had it going, was impressive. Just work on that sad run defense. It's too late to work on the sad run defense. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late in the season to work on this. This run defense is what it is. What it is. It was bad when everybody was healthy too. So it is what it is. It's too late for all of that stuff. This is the team who we have now. It's just about wins and losses. None of this other shit matters. So just about wins and losses. Dumpster fire rivals love to play spoiler. They do it all the time. The Raiders will love to beat us. Yeah, so you really can't predict. You can't predict that. You can't predict it. Yeah, and there's really no easy games going on. Saying I agree 100%. No easy games. They have to win. It's about wins and losses now. All of this other pie in the sky bullshit don't matter. That was my whole point coming on here. None of this stuff matters. They gotta win. They gotta win. And I'm gonna leave it at that right there. We'll be done. I'm gonna sign off now. I've been live almost 3 hours. Damn, it's like my longest live ever, I think. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with more content, regularly scheduled videos. Just like to come on here, talk to the people, and thank you guys so much for rocking with me. I really, really appreciate it. Be back tomorrow with more content. Y'all have a good day.